The following broadcast may contain adult language and childish behavior. Nanny, nanny, boo, boo. Ass bags. It's Friday night, and once again it's time for the Budda Show. Tonight, we welcome Mr. Flak, a brilliantly funny Twitch streamer and YouTube content creator, and the most watched gamer in South Africa. Featuring Larry Bell at the news desk, resident wise guy and rat commentator Tom Fasulo, Buddha Rocks, that's me at Master Control, and now, live from the Budda Nation studio in Los Santos, the only YouTube talk show that makes your giggle parts jiggle. It's the Budda Show.
People are going crazy in the chat.
All right, let's try this again. What's up, y'all?
Now we won't say anything just to mess with you.
Hi, everyone.
Good Lord. So we were talking about being back after being off last week because it was your birthday.
That's correct.
That's right. And you guys came up here to Atlanta.
My 26th birthday for the 15th time.
That's right. And it was nipply cold here, wasn't it?
It was fucking freezing.
I was nice and comfy in my coat.
Nice and comfy. Well, Tom and Belle, it's good to have you back. And of course, the guest of honor tonight. I've been very excited for this episode. They will tell you this. But Mr. Flak is in the house. What's going on, buddy?
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Doing well. All the way from South Africa.
The land of the rhinos.
Land of the rhinos.
I can't begin to tell you how bad I want to go to South Africa.
Do you want to go for the animals or do you want to go for
Animals.
Okay, there's not really that many though.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, the thing is like people are like they seem to think that we drive to work on zebras and shit like that, but we
Not even like a camel.
No, we have to go to the zoo to see animals. It's ridiculous.
Well, key would be Africa to go to Cape Town because I want to go cage diving with great whites.
That is a good idea. We've got a lot of great whites, like disgustingly huge creatures. Like I went shark cage diving once, and it was absolutely terrifying.
That is
Good
the
Lord.
absolute tip top of my bucket list must do before I die.
Go.
I would recommend it, although I would buy your own wetsuit because they were not going to use that wetsuit after I was done with it. No.
I don't know. That just seems like I don't know. I guess it's a good way to go out with a blaze of glory, I guess, if something does happen.
Yeah,
but...
I'm definitely checking her life insurance policy.
Yeah.
Her life insurance policy.
Now, what was the time you said to me earlier? I can't remember what it was. It was so funny. You said when I said that Mr. Flak was from South Africa. What'd you say? You said something. It was hilarious.
I thought in South Africa, Rust is the living sim down there.
Yeah, that's daily Rust basically. You know, you go out, you grab a spear, and you quickly head towards work with your spear. You creep into the office slowly. It's quite scary. Survival.
While riding a zebra. Let's not
While
leave out
riding a
riding the zebra.
Of course.
Riding a zebra.
See, I used to think it was about South Australia until they got electricity in the game, so I knew that couldn't be true anymore.
It's exactly that. Except we in our country, we don't have electricity at all times. Weirdly, there's this thing that we have called load shedding. It's a train smash. It's basically what they do is they cut off electricity to certain neighborhoods at certain times, because we use more electricity than we're able to produce.
That's insane.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so in our country, like in America, you've got multiple electricity vendors, a number of people that are allowed to create electricity, correct?
Well, in a multiple of ways to create electricity as well.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
we
but
have
it's
wind
not.
energy or green energy, we have solar energy, and then we also have like traditional coal energy.
Okay, you see, now that's cool. You guys have different methods. We've got one organization named ESCOM, and they basically are the only people that are allowed to create electricity in our country, and they're only created via coal or nuclear.
We do have
Wow.
some nuclear plants as well, but it's not as, I don't think it's as widely utilized.
Yeah, so we've got one vendor. They're only allowed to create electricity by themselves. They are owned by the government, and they are grossly mismanaged, and it's like rife with corruption. So essentially, of the 100% of the funds that are going into the plant, only about 30% is being used on getting the plants to run. The rest is being pocketed by the organization itself through corruption and illegal tendering, and it's a fuck up.
That sounds like
craziness.
ExxonMobil.
Yeah.
It's exactly that, except that they do it in plain sight. They don't hide it behind fake share prices and shit. They openly steal. Every week we've got news reports of another person, that just stole 200 million US dollars, and there's this 3-year court case, and then they get a slap on the wrist and they're asked to leave, but they don't have to return the funds. Nothing. It's a nightmare.
That's awful.
You guys don't do solar or generators over there, or?
No, we don't. We've got the technology, we've got the expertise, but we don't have the straight up funding, because as soon as there's this family called the Gupta family. It's an Indian family that basically stole South Africa 4 years ago, financially. What they did is they infiltrated our government sectors, and they basically stole all the tenders. So tenders are the public projects that are available for public users. They got all of them, and then they kicked back the government. So they gave the president of our country large sums of money in order to secure all the tenders. And essentially, whenever money goes into a big project like the Gupta project, they ordered $1 billion US worth of coal from the Gupta family, and the Gupta family never delivered a milligram of coal. They just blatantly stole it.
That's just crazy.
It's terrible.
Well, I was referring to like small solar panels, residential style. Like over here, there are some people that do that.
We're not allowed solar energy without licensing. So say you want to create your own energy. You can't just buy a solar panel, pop it on the roof, get a battery, and then you're good to go. You have to apply for a license, and once you get your license approved, you have to pay a monthly fee in order to make electricity.
That's insane.
Jesus.
Meanwhile, here you can actually sell to the power company your surplus of solar energy.
Yes, we are not allowed to put our surplus back into the grid. To get a reduction on our meter.
If we chose to go solar, we could then theoretically turn around and sell our bulk every month back to the energy company.
Efficient and logical. Imagine.
Right.
Good Lord.
Oh, well, what an intro. That and it's funny that's the subject came up because I noticed I was looking at Flak's Twitter page, and he was talking about exactly that today.
Yeah,
was it today or was it yesterday?
I think it was yesterday, but
yesterday,
it's basically on our minds daily. Like today, they announced that there's going to be no load shedding, inverted commas, for the weekend. So that's why I'm confidently having this podcast. But it's almost every day where they just cut off your electricity for 2-3 hours a day because they cannot create enough. Oh, and to make matters worse, 80% of the country's electricity that we create goes into our grid. Another 20% of our electricity we sell to foreign neighboring African countries because they can't make enough. So we sell the electricity we create to other countries. So there are actually times when African countries are powered and we aren't.
Off of your power.
Off of our power, because they sell it to them for an inflated fee. So
wow.
they're taking profit over self-preservation.
So Onyx had a very good question in the chat. It definitely sounds like there could be some security risks to that, having like the grid shut off. I mean, with anything security based that's web based or anything like that. You see a lot of that?
I do, and it's not just security based. I mean, if you think about all of our, let's say, our anti-aircraft weaponry that we have, that's all electronic. Our economy, when you shut off the electricity for 2-3 hours, you've got factories that cannot produce. So there's financial security, there's there's technological security. There's so much risks of not having electricity. It's shocking.
That's just a nightmare.
It
That's a
is.
hell
It's
of a
very
nightmare.
sad. It's actually it's made me. I mean, I love my country. I love my country to bits, and I want to stay here for the rest of my life. But it's so unstable to the point that I'm considering selling, my dream home that I've purchased 5 years ago to immigrate and go to another country. And I mean, I love my country, but I would like basic service. I mean, we don't have free medical. We don't have, like, I feel at this stage that most of my tax money that goes into the government either funds corrupt people or poor people. There's
Oh
no,
man,
like,
I relate to that on a spiritual level.
bro, it's so frustrating. I mean, why isn't my tax money helping only the poor or helping very wealthy people? What about the middle class, the actual backbone of the country? What about them?
As we have similar, I mean, not problems like that, but we definitely have our own issues that delve into that same area of society too, where, I mean, over here we have a whole class of people who don't want us, the middle class, the people who actually pay for everything.
Yeah, the middle class is, because I mean, let's be honest, the rich are like 2% of the nation, the poor are most of the nation, but the people that are actually funding the tax system is the middle class, and they just get absolutely fucked.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, so I could literally go on about this for hours. I don't want to kidnap your podcast, but essentially, it's frustrating, but I don't see an end to it because nothing happens. The majority keeps on voting in the incorrect parties, and it's just a nightmare. So
and I'm sure that any one or small group of people that stood up and like over here, every now and then you'll have a lot of people who in leadership, it just becomes stale and it becomes the same thing, and it's corrupt, whether they're honest about it or not, or they're open about it or not. But then you have somebody fresh that comes along, and they get a lot of opposition from a lot of people because they're now a problem for the people who have had this things a certain way for the longest time, and now they're a threat. And I'm sure that over there, it being that corrupt, that if someone were to do that, like, I'm sure there are people that could change things, but they're afraid that they're just going to get assassinated or wind up in a car wreck or something like that.
Yeah, basically, like in our country, the reason why nothing's changed, we've had one political party in charge for the last 20 years, the African National Congress. Now, the reason why they are still in power is quite simple, is because they've kept a large majority of the country. Because, I mean, let's be honest, our country is about 80%, according to the last census, 80% African, and then you get the other 20% made up of different races and different types of nationals. The problem is that the leading party has kept the majority of their people uneducated and poor. So they are ill-informed. They don't know what they're voting for. So every time elections roll around, the ANC party, smiles and waves at the crowds and hands out food and promises them the world. And because they're uneducated and because they are so vulnerable, they keep on voting the same people back into power. The only other opposition party is basically a white party. And the problem with that is that the country used to have very bad apartheid. It used to be very anti-black, a lot of pro-white, and that was in the 80s. And the problem is that the people remember, and they're always referring to the past times of, white power versus African oppression. So everyone's too scared to vote the opposition party into power, so they'll rather, vote for the devil, if you know what I mean.
Yep. We'll go. So that's when in Rome, right?
When in Rome, basically, yes. It's a nightmare. So it's an endless cycle of just corruption and God. I need to leave.
Insanity. Well, we'll get back to you in a second because I want to start talking about your channel and Twitch and what you're doing, because there's a large group of people that watch us and don't know who you are, and they need to, because whether they like those games or not, you are indeed a very entertaining YouTuber.
Why, thank you, sir.
All right, so Buffy, I'm gonna hand it over. Buffy, good Lord, I just saw
Jesus
Buffy.
Christ, nobody can tell us apart. What the hell?
I was just looking at the chat, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Well, at least your name
Miss Bell, right, the loveliest and glitteriest of bells. I'm gonna hand it over to you for the news. And I'm going to go over here in the corner and kick my cat for a while.
I like dogs better, so I'm okay with that. This Budda Show news segment brought to you by San Andreas Telephone. Life happens. San Andreas Telephone. So the news report for this week, we'll first do some gaming news. Second news story will be real life news stories from the week, and then the final one will be 10 things that originated in South Africa. And I'm very curious to see how many he already knew originated in South Africa, like we did with our prior guest who was not from the US. I kind of like to just bring in some cool things that maybe we didn't know started there. Sometimes that person didn't know it started there either.
Sounds like a plan.
That's very cool.
All right, so this week in gamer news, and generally I go to PCGamer.com and just read through the weekly news story just because, you know, it's easily accessed. So if anybody wants to find more about this, you're free to. One of the headlines is you can score a 1 terabyte SSD for under 100 or 2 terabytes for under 200, and that is through Adata Ultimate, ADATA Ultimate. If you want to know more about that, you can check it out on PCGamer.com. Not sponsored, but if you wanna, call me.
That's right. Give us a call. We're happy.
Resident Evil 2 Remake mod adds an Adino Crisis costume and weapons. The Fortnite Carlton dance lawsuit has hit a copyright speed bump. Jade's Mortal Kombat 11 fatality shows off an interesting use of her staff.
Heyo.
I knew that was coming. And basically, it looks a little more gory. The action looks a little more gory than what we're used to seeing. Ubisoft is unveiling Gridlock and Mozzie, I'm not sure how you would say it, but they're Australian operators that are coming to Rainbow Six Siege in their new chapter. I don't know if anybody's gotten a chance to watch some of the Apex Legends gameplay. It released a couple of days ago. They've discovered a big secret monster in Apex. It's a Loch Ness type monster. It's hidden in the Titanfall map for anyone that plays and is curious to see more.
I don't even know what Apex is. I know people are gonna hate me for that.
No. It reminds me a lot of PUBG. I think is what I would relate it most closely to. It's less realistic. Well, not that PUBG is overly realistic, but that's what it reminded me most of. It's similar to that style.
Yeah, don't you play that game, Flak?
I do. So basically, it's a battle royale game, much like Fortnite or PUBG, but it's not as children friendly as Fortnite. So it's a more serious shooter. However, it's not as realistic as PUBG. So it doesn't have a lot of the intricate weapon characteristics like bullet drop and bullet travel, and it's basically a fun, high-paced shooter with certain special abilities.
Correct.
Okay, good. I got you now. I'm
correct.
Okay. Sorry, carry on.
There is more. No, that was beautifully said. I was struggling to think of how best to describe it. Assassin's Creed Odyssey gets a new gameplay update in February. Fortnite Season 8 Battle Pass will be free. And Booker T, the wrestler, the WWE wrestler, is suing Activision over the Call of Duty Prophet character. Apparently, Booker T collaborated with a comic artist, and they created like a character. And Activision, I guess, somehow got a hold of this character and then used it to model their Call of Duty Prophet.
Activision versus a 20-year retired WWE wrestler. I think we know who's going to win there.
Yeah. The wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a shame.
And last up, Rainbow Six Siege, for anyone wanting to check it out. It is an oldie, but a really goodie. It's free to play this weekend.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but they have a new map coming up soon. So, of course, grab everybody you can.
And that's on Steam, right?
Yeah, it's a Steam game.
Okay.
I don't like Rainbow Six Siege at all.
I wanted to try it out because I'm a Clancy fan.
Like, if you like Counter-Strike, you'd like Rainbow Six Siege. But I've never liked Counter-Strike, so it's like... No, I've never been really into turn-based like games where if you die, you have to wait for the end of the round. I like the option of respawning immediately. So
Yeah.
I do get frustrated waiting. I like throw things and shit. I get very frustrated very quick.
So how are you doing in Apex? Because that's another one that if you can't be revived.
I break things.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Is that how your laptop project got started?
Yes, absolutely. The start of the laptop project came from a laptop that accidentally fell off my desk against the wall and bounced on the ground and then hit the cupboard.
I hate when it accidentally falls and does all those things.
I hate it. It bounced on 7 different locations accidentally, and then I realized it was broken, so I decided to build it into a shock-proof casing so that it can't break again. Yeah, that's so true. I swear.
That was poetry, the way you described that. That's the way I described it too. Lovingly stress testing things.
Yes, of course. No. And it's also waterproof, so I hold it underwater in my swimming pool, and it still works. So that's pretty cool.
Quick question: does the instances of you holding it under the water happen to follow the laptop suddenly not working? Like it blue screens and you hold it under the water as a method of torture?
No, absolutely not. That was just stress testing. I climbed on my roof and I dropped it on the ground and it still worked. And then I held it underwater and it still worked. So it's a bit of a success.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Awesome. Go ahead, Miss Bell.
That sums up our news story for our first news segment.
Okay, cool. I'm
God,
looking.
I swear I've done this before, guys.
I know. Well, we're out of practice. Last week we went and ate a ton of food at
Burgers and beer.
burgers and beer pretty much all weekend. That was an amazing weekend. All right, well we'll take a little break. We're going to hear from a couple of sponsors and we'll be right back.
He was a man at war with himself, fighting a war that someone else lost.
It's over, Tim! The war's over!
It's never over! You've seen him wipe out millions of Cambodians in Exploder. Now, Jack Howitzer is Tim in his most challenging role yet.
We're here, Tim!
A preschool for slow children?
You're the new teacher, Tim!
Special needs cop. It's the story of a psychotic ex-Marine showing tough love to special ed kids. One of you tards has been running Peruvian flake through the special ed school, and I'm gonna find it. No juice and cookies!
Your movies suck, Tim!
But soon, he becomes one of them.
What is this?
That's teacher's gun. You want to see it?
Cool.
Oh, you gone and shot yourself. Way to go! He was finally beginning to live a normal life. Then, all hell breaks loose.
Tim, you're so stupid. You count with your fingers.
You want to party with me? Bring it on!
Tim, what are you doing?
I fought for my country! Welcome to the land of freedom, bitches! Yeah! Special needs cop. He had a lot to learn.
Mikey, where are you?
Hi, you can't see me. My invisibility cloak is on.
Oh, Mikey, stop drawing pentagrams on all the doors.
The Cavern of Sorrow!
It's the fantasy game that's sweeping the country, The Cavern of Sorrow. Learn about our exciting history and have fun, too.
I'm a holy warrior on a quest. I'll kill you if you don't believe like I do. You can't beat me, stupid. I'm invisible. I got invisibility seeing glasses, dumbass. Lord Zed the Wizard gave them to me. Remember our adventure at Gash Canyon?
The Cavern of Sorrow!
Gather ye friends and embark on historical adventures.
I'll cut your head off with my sword. Oh, no, you won't. I have a metal neck given to me by Gorath of Backdar. I got him when we traveled to the nether regions of Gorthbeck. There I had 8 wives, 47 kids, and other concerns. The Cavern of Sorrow!
It's not just a game, it's a secret society of special friends. Will you find the Cavern of Sorrow, or will it find you?
The Cavern of Sorrow!
Like, literally, you're listening to the only place for talk radio worth hearing, The Budda Show, right here on Q92 WCTR. Oh my god.
Listen here, you little fuck! Whoa!
And we are back.
Woohoo!
That moment when people in the chat realize that the commercial breaks are part of the joke.
Is that from GTA Radio?
Yes, it is.
I thought so. I think it was. Is that that sounds like San Andreas? I think.
I believe it was. Yes, it's little touch to the show since this is an a custom GTA 5 server, and just part of the whole blurring the line between fantasy and reality for the entertainment value.
I love it.
It's a good laugh, and of course, apparently there was some people that haven't heard the remix that I did for you.
Ah, okay.
The only guest now that has had a theme song coming back from a break.
Oh, nice. I'm the first.
All right. So, our guest of honor, Mr. Flak, you're from South Africa. What part?
Cape Town.
Cape Town. Okay.
Yeah, the good part.
And isn't that in the southern region, or is that?
That's where I can go cage diving.
Yeah, it's in the southern tip of Africa, and it's like the tourist, like the hotspot. It's the LA of South Africa.
The LA of South Africa.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Well,
it's quite nice.
With lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
Definitely not.
Do they have bears in
definitely
South
not
Africa?
No bears, no tigers, no camels.
Gotcha.
I'm out. Forget it.
Well, it's better than I want to go to Australia, but I'm going to be wearing steel-toed boots and 4 pairs of pants because everything is poisonous over there.
That's true. It's true. I'd like to go myself.
Freaking spiders everywhere.
Apparently, the safest place to go if you want to go somewhere on that side of the world is actually New Zealand.
I've heard the same. Yeah.
New Zealand.
They have more, I think, deadly aquatic things than America does, but they have far fewer deadly species of animals.
That's fine by me because I really don't go out in the water.
Can I give a quick shout out to someone in the chat? I noticed
Absolutely,
the name
sir.
Of course, please.
I see a bunch of guys, a bunch of my mates, Wing and Pubby and all of them, but definitely Pubby. Pubby's like one of my followers from the beginning. And that guy's donated me hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So Pubby, I love you, man.
That is awesome. Thank you all for being here, by the way. We do appreciate it. None of your we try to keep up with the chat as best we can, but it's unlike a normal gaming stream where the streamer or streamers can interact with the chat at every turn. It kind of takes away from what we're trying to do here. So, and that's learn more about our guest, Mr. Flak. So tell us a little bit, for those who don't know, about your channel and your Twitch, both on YouTube and Twitch, and what you do.
Okay, so Twitch-wise, I don't really frequent as often, but that's obviously due to bad internet quality in South Africa. So Twitch is a bit of a mission for me, and I don't really like live because I sometimes say certain things that are, very 2003. I recognize 2 genders. I am not as friendly to certain new age concepts, and often I say it, and you can't control Z. You can't control
honey,
Z.
you have come to the right place.
Yeah, you're among friends here, pal.
That's good. So I say things without thinking sometimes, and whilst in my mind it's okay, in modern society, hipster culture where they get offended when you knock over the salt shaker, they don't like me. So live for me is very scary. You can get banned for anything nowadays on the internet for some reason. It's ridiculous. So I don't particularly fancy live. However, I do like my videos on YouTube, and those videos I do videos for Rust, a game called Rust. So basically, my channel is dominated by Rust. However, at the moment, now that I've become a full-time creator, I've started moving into, vlogging and more FaceTime with the camera videos, of course, but more into the world of computer games in general and not just one particular game. Because obviously every game has a lifespan, and I don't want to reach the end of my lifespan and then have a dead channel. So I'm starting to branch out in that regard.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Rat holing yourself is not fun.
No. And I can already see traces of rat holing. I mean, I would release a Rust video and I typically get maybe 30, 40,000 views per video. Then I release a non-Rust game and then I'll get 6,000 or 7,000 views. So I know a lot of my followers are there just for my Rust content. I completely understand that. But I do have a couple of the goldies, like the guys in the chat, who just generally follow me just because it's me. Like they like the person that I am and not the game that I play. So I'm trying to find more of those followers, the guys that like me as a person, as a gamer, not as a Rust player. I don't want to be, boxed in.
For me, I mean, I found you because of Rust and because of my desire for creative base building and things like that. But what hooked me was your attitude and your sense of humor, that 2003 attitude you were just touching on. And your editing style. I mean, you're very creative. I try to be that way as well, but that's what hooked me, was how you do what you do. It wasn't the game itself.
Why, thank you. I appreciate that, because a lot of the people they get into watching these videos for skill, and I don't have a lot of skill in the game. So I figured if I don't have skill, I've got to bring something else to the table. So I brought my, my sense of humor and my editing style, which I'm very protective over. I spend a lot of time editing, like a lot of time. Sometimes I edit 30 or 40 hours on one video. So I hold it very dear to me, my quality. And I feel like if a lot of people on the internet, they create to make money. And at this stage, I'm not creating to make money. I'm creating to make greatness, because I don't want to scare people off. And I look at viewers like you are auditioning by a viewer. Every time somebody watches your channel, you are auditioning for a role in their life. And if you screw up an audition, you're done. Those people will never watch your videos again. So you've got to treat every video or every bit of information that you release onto the internet like an audition, like you're trying to secure a fan for life. And once you pass that audition, those guys will follow you religiously. And I'm looking for those guys, the real, fans.
Yeah, your true 1,000 fans. That's a big key to being successful in this type of thing, is finding that true 1,000 fans.
Absolutely.
Or in my case, it's 511.
There we go. That's brilliant. I love it. People don't realize how important these benchmarks or these how do I say it? These achievements are. Like, people think, 500 subs, is that all you got? 500 subs is huge. And it's 2019. Every person on the internet is either a streamer or a YouTuber or both. So you're in very, very full water. To secure 500 people that are willing to follow you it's amazing. It's huge.
Yeah, I hit 7K and I couldn't believe it. I mean, that does represent 3 years of hard work, because I started as a former entertainer in the real world and not knowing what the hell I was doing with anything, modding, anything like that. And it's all been self-taught.
Exactly. I love that.
Okay, so where so we know you do Rust. I know you've started to play Apex, right? And you play PUBG, I see a lot more lately. What are there any other games that you're adding to the channel here, or?
At the moment, no. I don't want to. That's also another problem that I have with the modern gaming industry. You can literally look on Steam and find out what's getting released this week, and there will be 40 games coming out.
Yep.
I feel like there are too many games. There's every Tom, Dick, and Harry who finishes college, with game development degrees. They just want to start their own publishing house. They want to release a game, and people are releasing games that are not finished. You get these people that are just releasing these garbage. Sorry, like these garbage fucking titles. They're pushing out this trash. They're making quick bucks off it, and then they literally poisoning the well.
Yeah. Well, everybody wants to be the next Fortnite. They want to. It's a cash grab.
That's exactly that. And when you find a game like Rust that is actually a really good game to its core, you want to latch on. So I don't want to basically alienate my viewer base and play 9 games that are shit, because at the end of the day, people like a happy ending. They don't want to watch something that is, me moaning for 30 minutes about how bad a game is. That people do respond to positivity and negativity. So I would ideally like to play things that I enjoy, because when I enjoy a game, the experience for my viewer is better. So
yep, absolutely.
I'm trying to latch onto really good games and try and stay away from the stinkers. Hopefully, yeah.
And there's a lot of them too. A lot of them.
So many. I mean, some Russian studio just sent me a game. Now I'm not going to mention the name of the game. Oh god, it was fucking terrible. I opened this game and I looked at it and I'm like I swear to God, my 10-year-old daughter could make a better game. It was absolutely trash. And then to make matters worse, they were selling it for money, like for people money. I was like, wait, so someone's going to work and use their earnings to purchase this garbage? Like, no fucking ways. Like Fortnite's free. Come on. Like if you're going to release shit, at least make it free. Fucking hell.
That needs to be on a t-shirt.
Well, the
I think
projected
so.
theory is that all games are going to go the Fortnite route and make it free to play, where you basically have to buy to win.
Yeah, pay to win titles, or even Fortnite, which isn't really pay to win, but
Yeah.
you know, they sell the skins.
Right,
But-
the microtransactions.
Yeah, the microtransaction. But the problem with that, though, that I feel, is that people end up spending more than what they would spend on a normal game.
Oh,
You get
100%.
A AAA game like Call of Duty, it would cost $30 or $40 in the store. Now they're giving these games away for free, and then kids are spending $200-300 on digital clothing for their characters. Like, come on.
And I would love to pretend not to fall victim to that, but I have.
No, Sam, I've bought a whole bunch of shit. I got a snow machine in Rust. It makes snow. It doesn't shoot people. It makes fucking snow. Come on.
Tom and I have recently gotten into Elder Scrolls Online, and I mean, just hook, line, and sinker dove in. And I can easily see how you could spend hundreds of dollars on cosmetic things, because really that's all they are.
Yeah, it's for appearance. It's not like it's making you shoot better or have
Yeah.
because that is essentially pay to win, and I don't agree with pay to win at all. I think pay to win is garbage. You get those mobile games, you can like buy super powered gems for your whatever. I don't agree to that, because then you are winning not via skill.
Yeah, you're just dropping money at a problem.
Exactly.
Which to young kids, that also teaches, that sends the wrong message.
But that's true. I mean, the kids that are growing up nowadays are a lot more entitled than what they used to be, and they feel like they deserve certain things like property ownership and, you know, the best jobs in the world, you know, without thinking, hey, maybe I've got to work for 10 years before I get to purchase that house. So, you know, it's frustrating, and I completely understand where their mentality comes from.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily blame them for being that way. I blame them for their continued actions, because everybody's
no,
responsible and what you do has consequences. But I do blame their upbringing. I blame a generation of parents who got lazy because of electronics.
That's the thing. Like I've got a daughter, and she's 10 years old, and she's getting to that age now where she's concerned about what she wears, and, you know, she's concerned about what people think about her physical appearance. And all of her friends have got like these iPhone 8s at their school, you know, next to the zebras. And it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand how these parents are giving their kids literally, you know, $1,000 phone to take to school. Like my kid she's got something we call tablet time, where she's allowed to play on her little Galaxy Tab for X amount of hours a week. Once she uses that up, she is done. Put it down. You are not allowed to use it. And then we encourage things like drawing and reading when tablet time is finished. So she knows she's got to limit that shit. So she essentially gets like 12 hours during the week, Monday to Friday after school. And then she will divide it and use an hour a day for Netflix, you know, because we've got our Netflix next to our zebras. And then she would use it up. Sometimes she wants to watch a series, and then she'd like binge a series of some fucking garbage cartoon, and then she would be done. So then we'd have to like say, okay, well, now it's time for a book. And we try and filter it into such a way that it's fun. So she is enjoying reading a lot more, and I feel that things like reading and non-electronic time is so essential.
Now, if she chose to read via like an e-reader, would that take away from her electronic time?
Yes, it would. I want her to read an old-fashioned page book, so she can understand the weight and, you know, the struggles that we faced as kids.
And do you guys remember when you would go and check out like one of the hardbound books in the library, how the spine would crack when you would open it? I used to love that.
And the smell of library books.
And the smell. You know what I mean?
That's like
it's
an
an experience.
It's
It's your touch and your smell and your eyes, and like you can't recreate that on a laptop or a tablet.
No,
or
and
an
if you
iPhone.
would run your fingers over the printed words, like you could kind of
You could feel it.
how it was raised a little
Yeah,
bit, just
slightly
on the
raised.
paper.
And you see, that's what I'm trying to instill in her by using old-fashioned books. There's little joys that you get that you cannot get from reading a book via an e-reader, for example. And one of those things is the feel of it and the smell of it, and very, very, you know, you can't take care of pages on an e-reader. However, you can give a book and say, return this book in immaculate condition. And just keeping pages neat teaches them lessons, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm going for. I'm going for. I don't want to be one of those parents that make their kids like slave away. So I give a very small chores like water the plants in the garden, do this and that. But I feel like a lot of my morals and my values came from, doing small chores around the house, by appreciating my personal possessions, by if you make a stain on your clothes. Like you see those, have you seen those commercials for the washing stuff, like the tablets for your washing machine, where you put it in and the kid runs in the mud and he gets full of dirt and the parents are laughing and hugging the kid because they're going to wash his clothes and it's going to be great.
Yep.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that for me. If I got dirty, my mom used to beat the shit out of me.
Yep.
Like what the fuck is, she'd beat the shit out of you while she undresses you, and then you're standing there butt naked, crying your ass off, and she's washing your clothes and she's moaning. Like that's because like in the old days they used to like not want to just randomly wash your clothes. They wanted you to always be presentable and take care of your things.
Yep.
And whilst I'm not going to beat the shit out of my kid like my mom did, I am going to encourage her to keep herself neat at all times so that you don't have to unnecessarily damage your personal items. Because nowadays everything's so disposable. I mean, you buy a laptop and the laptop lasts you for 2 years. You buy a cell phone, the cell phone lasts you for 1 year. Back in the day, you bought a microwave. I've got a microwave from the 70s. It still works.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm pretty sure
like
that
they made
causes
things
cancer
properly.
at this point.
Probably. Like I'd expect it to at this stage. But like I just feel like the world has gone too disposable. Everything gets thrown away and I think it's reused.
Yeah, I hate that. I'm the worst. Even when I'm not broke, I have a hard time buying anything for myself. I really consider the purchase. Do I really need it before I go and buy it? Because I've got, like for a pair of jeans, for example. I don't care that they're on sale. If I still got all my jeans and I don't need it, and they still work, even with a patch, then I'm going to patch them. I wore patch clothes as a kid my whole life, so it's nothing new to me.
And the jeans that come out today, they might look like normal denim, but they just don't last like old denim used to.
Nope.
Old denim was tough. The modern denim is cosmetic. It's trash. I mean, I've got a very nice garden. I love my gardening, and I've got this table outside by my garden, and it's actually it's date stamped 1942. It was a teacher's desk, like a school teacher's desk.
Okay.
That I repurposed as my outside dinner table. That thing, it weighs. I'm talking like basically 150 pounds. It's a solid wood desk.
Yeah, it's made of oak or something, probably.
Yeah, a teak, and it's insane. I mean, that thing has been out there for years, and it looks brand new. You buy a table from like one of those IKEA style places and it'll last a year and it's already falling apart.
And that's if you don't have kids.
And if you don't have kids. If you do have kids, then it might make it in the front door when you purchased it. And then
but hey, you got good meatballs.
Well, and the cost of that kind of item now is astronomical. So Tom and I used to live like near Amish country, and they would hand sew quilts, and they would make solid wood tables. And to purchase a solid wood table, you're looking somewhere between $7,000 and $11,000, or $7,000 and $15,000, depending on the size.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What? The thing is, it's so strange to hear that. Like, okay, for you guys, if you had to buy typically like a flat white or a cappuccino at a Starbucks, what would you pay for it in terms of dollars?
$3.87.
$3.87.
Depending on what size you get.
Okay, so what is $3.87? How big is that? Grande, or is that like?
That's grande, yeah.
Okay, now our grande cappuccinos would cost, if I had to convert it, about $1.90 at our Starbucks.
Wow.
Yeah, because we have Starbucks. Next to our zebras.
Do you at least have like a pet lion? That would really seal the deal for me.
We don't. However, I do have a lot of animals in my yard. They decided to move in. So I made my garden really nice. And then like the neighborhood wildlife just decided to move in. So like I go outside in the morning and I make my coffee, and it's like there's all strange species of birds and lizards and strange things that like, they sort of look at me like, can I help you, motherfucker? Like you're in my yard.
Tell me you're going to use your editing style and make a vlog of what the hell is that? With all the animals, the Disney thing.
It's like Disney. Like my wife, she sings, and all the animals, I'm pretty sure they come out to listen to her sing. It's insane.
That's awesome.
It's pretty strange. Yeah, it's weird. But essentially, what I was trying to get at, sorry, with the $1.90 versus the $3.87, is that like we earn less than Americans in our country, but things are cheaper. So like my home that I bought, it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom. I don't know if you guys don't work in meters, but it's 650 square meters. I don't know how to describe that in feet, but
Tom will convert it for us.
It's pretty big, 650 meters square. It's not the smallest, and that home cost me $100,000. And I mean, it's in a nice neighborhood. It's a concrete construction. It's pretty freaking big, you know.
Jesus.
Roughly 7,000 square feet.
Yeah, that's at least 1/3 of what that would cost here in a fair market.
I would say in a ghetto neighborhood, maybe 1/3.
You think? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That's probably closer to a 6-figure house now, huh? Here.
Yeah, easy. You would be,
So-
depending
Or
on what
7-figure,
area
sorry,
you wanted to
7-figure.
move to, I would say the bare minimum you would pay for that price in any metro area in the United
It's
States would
like
be
800,
800,000.
850.
Jesus.
Minimum.
And those are those prefabricated houses, right? Like where they like made out of like some kind of
Mostly
No,
like
concrete.
aluminum siding type.
No, like those 850 houses are not prefab. Those tend not to be.
They're fairly nice. They're still put up in 6 freaking weeks.
Oh,
But,
well,
but
that's-
they're stucco or brick, and they have nice granite countertops and floors and wood floors and all that. But
Okay, my house was an absolute shithole. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was terrible. But I mean, you get most of what you need when you purchase the home. It doesn't matter what the floors are, what the kitchen looks like. That's all changeable. As long as you get the land, you get the building. You know, you're
Agreed.
good. Yeah. So that's how the price. But then again, it might be $100,000 to purchase the home. Then you look at how much we typically earn. And before I became a full-time creator, I was, you know, quite a well-off technician in terms of IT. And I earned, let me convert that quickly. I earned, as a very senior, 10-year experienced technician, I earned roughly $2,000 a month.
that's average job over here, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Okay, good. Okay, because in terms of me, it wasn't average. I was quite high earning in terms of, you know, what the rest of the country was earning. So I was considered well off in terms of $2,000 a month. So I mean, you get doctors in this country, full medical doctors that have their own practice that make $4,000 a month. So we make a lot less than American, but our stuff is typically cheaper, except for our cars. Our cars are a fucking nightmare, super expensive. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You have a fairly interesting ride, don't you?
I do. I've got a Subaru. You know, because I was one of those kids that, like, when I grew up, I wanted to drive a Batmobile. And you can't actually buy a Batmobile in South Africa, so I just decided to buy a rally car, which is cool. You know, sometimes the traffic's really bad, and then you just go off road, and people look at you like they hate you. You laugh at them and spray mud everywhere. It's great. Fire breathing dragon.
And that off-road track, that's by the zebras, right?
Right next to the zebra.
Right next to the zebra.
So for reference, your job would have earned you about what a $12 an hour job would earn you here.
Yeah, and that would be
Full-time.
considered entry level, right? $12 an hour is pretty.
Depending on the
what you're
industry,
doing.
yeah.
Okay,
That's about average now for most starting wage for a lot of fast food restaurants over here, with the cry for higher minimum wage.
See, now you see that's why I was able to become a full-time creator, is because I'm earning US dollars. I'm not earning South African rand.
Right.
So I'm earning way less than an American should. However, because I'm earning the money technically in America and I'm spending it in South Africa, that's how I'm able to do what I do. So essentially, when my country becomes like when shit hits the fan, like when, you know, someone gets caught in bed with someone and investors are going crazy and the dollar price shoots through the roof, I'm dancing. All my neighbors are like crying, like, "How are we going to pay the bills this month?" And I'm like dancing in my yard because I earn dollars.
You
not
roll up
rand.
in your Lamborghini.
Yeah. I'll be like, I'll cry, you know, dab my eyes with money. I'll be like, "I'm so sorry for you guys." Yeah,
I can see you doing that too.
Yeah, I would so do that. I would go and easily go grab a 100 rand note, which is about $8, and I would go to my neighbor and I would just dab his cheeks ever so gently. Be like, "It's all right, it's all right, buddy." That's filthy.
I love it. I love it. All right, well, let's move on. We got this little game that we play that helps everybody learn more about you and things that you might not normally talk about, in your streams or your videos. Called That's the Answer, and you provided us some answers.
4 answers.
4 answers, and when I saw them, I literally replied to you on Twitter. This is going to be an epic episode.
Oh, there, I see it there. Ha ha ha! This is going to be an. Sorry, I don't reply to my social media very often.
That's okay. I had to say it though because the last answer, especially, I saw that and I'm like, oh god, I can't wait to hear this story. So let's get started with that. So the way it works here in chat, for those of you who don't know, and you can in chat, you can play along too, is I'm going to read an answer and we have to guess the proper question. All right, so the first one, here we go. The first one is seafood.
So, yeah, seafood's the answer. You have to guess what question would get that answer.
Correct.
Your least favorite food. Sorry, what is your least favorite food?
That is
apparently it's freaking Jeopardy, and I have to answer that way.
That's technically right. It is basically the only food that I will never eat in the world, no matter what. I would starve before I eat seafood.
Are you allergic to it, or?
Or is that religious?
No, not even religious. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, there's no Jesus. We all know that. It's just like I don't eat seafood. The thing is, when my family is very big on their seafood, and growing up, my mom used to force me to eat seafood, and that like created a mental block in my brain. So, I can't eat seafood.
We were just talking about that earlier today, weren't we? There, Bell and Tom.
Yep.
Yeah, I
didn't speak about that. Being forced to eat something so much as a kid, you refuse to eat it as an adult.
That's exactly it. I was literally like every single night my mom would make seafood and she would force it on me and I didn't like it. And she wouldn't just like go make me a sandwich. I understand, times were tough when I was growing up. But it's gotten to the point where even those really nice delicacies of seafood, the sushis, I can't enjoy any of that because I've got this mental block. The smell of it, the sight of it, the thought of it just makes me ill, and I would rather, like I say, starve to death before
I'm guessing if you refuse to eat, though, that your mom never said, listen, you finish your food because there are kids in South Africa that are starving.
Yeah, she couldn't say that. We had to use
because I know everybody on this end of the table heard that at least once in their life.
Yeah, because kids in
Africa.
No,
for me it was always eat or starve. Those are your choices.
Yeah, our go-to for these kids in India that are starving. So, like in Africa, we consider India starving. You know what I mean?
They got Dell tech support, so I don't know.
Exactly. A lot of countries are doing a lot better than what American media makes it out to be. I've noticed. They do make the rest of the world look really backwards. And,
well, similarly, America isn't doing as well as American media makes it look like.
There we go. So it's like general propaganda, we doing the greatest and everyone else is struggling.
Yeah, we're not all Kardashians with fat asses, unfortunately.
We all don't have compounds.
Right. Or should I say, fortunately, we're not Snooki and Kim Kardashian. Okay, so answer number 2 is January 19th, 2017.
Yes, important day for me. Life-changing day for me. What happened?
Well, I know what it is, so I'm gonna pass and let them.
Okay.
When your favorite child was born. Don't lie, every parent has one.
The last time that there was power for 24 hours straight.
Ah, that's a good one. That's funny. Not
you know what's funny? You know what's funny? Wait, I have a really good one.
Okay.
When we say low power in SA, now no one will know if we mean South America or South Africa or South Australia.
Well, South America too, I'm sure.
Probably South America too. Let's include them. Why not?
Because the media said they have no power, right?
Exactly. I like to be offensive across the board.
Oh God. No. So do you guys give up? Can I give the answer?
Yeah.
Okay. So the 19th of January 2017 was the first day I started my YouTube channel. And ever since that day, my life has been a lot better. Sometimes worse, but a lot better. That was like an anchor point in my life. I'm not quite sure when my kid was born. I'm checking.
RIP.
Kind of. I've only got one kid, and she was, 12th of July, 2008. Yes.
She's entering those fun teenage years. Good luck.
I'm so excited. I mean, have you guys seen that? Have you guys seen Bad Boys 2, the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's this one scene where Marcus Burnett's daughter is going on a first date. So like the two cops go to the door and they scare the shit out of their kid.
Great scene.
That's hilarious.
It was the only scene that mattered in that movie, essentially. I can't wait to do that to my kid's boyfriend.
Flak,
it's gonna be great.
I will fly out and be your cousin for that.
You'll be my wingman. You'll be Uncle Jerry.
I will start a GoFundMe just to do that.
I ain't going back.
I'm a simple man. I just want, a 14-year-old boy to shit in his pants, by my front door. That's all I want in life.
Right.
So yeah, I would start a GoFundMe too on that.
Make him believe a wrong slip of the hand is going to be death sentence.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't even look at her. You don't
I'm
look
just
at
saying, if you got a pet tiger, that could be a thing. Like,
I
really feel like there's a missed opportunity here.
I'd have to import one from India. They might be starving, but they do have tigers.
Or a lion, or maybe like a jackal. Ooh, a hyena.
A hyena?
I've got a freakishly weird dog. He could do the job. He's quite big, but he's very muscular. He's intimidating to look at.
You dress him up in Thunderdome armor.
I was thinking something like that, with some spikes and something like Mad Max.
Yeah, exactly. Little flamethrowers on the side.
That's the only thing that you could do. And I think I'd hold him because when he gets excited, he goes for my guests, but he wants to play with them. But he looks like he wants to eat them. So people don't visit me very often. Someone asked in the chat, what breed of dog is it? It's like we've got this thing called a pavement special, which is 18 different breeds of dog mixed into one. And
we call it a mutt.
A mutt, yeah. Okay, so a mutt's pavement special, and then he's also got a lot of dominant greyhound in him. So the greyhound is very dainty, very thin dogs.
Right.
Picture a greyhound on steroids. And the funny thing is, he still runs as fast as a greyhound. So you can't outrun him. That's impossible. He's disgusting. He's speed.
Your pet cheetah could.
Next to the
cheetah. Where do you keep the cheetah?
No, I don't.
Think you can import a kangaroo?
No one can, weirdly, unless you're a registered zoo. You can't import. You're not allowed to let any Australian animals leave their border. Weirdly.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Have you ever noticed that nobody's got pet kangaroos? I mean, you get maybe the zoo in New York, they would have one, but no one's privately owning kangaroos or koalas because you're actually just not allowed to. You're not allowed to take plants out of their country.
Wow.
Or into their country.
Yeah. It's just like
the people that ship out the great African weed we keep hearing about, they could really get in. It's not prison for them, I'm assuming.
No. In fact, our country recently fully legalized not only smoking of marijuana, but cultivating. You're allowed to grow your own. There's no governing it whatsoever.
No licensing, nothing. Wow, that's amazing.
That's coming up on a big bill in Australia here shortly as well.
That's cool. I like that. The thing is, it's not a narcotic. I don't know. I don't consume it myself, to be honest. I'm very I just choose not to. But I don't see the problem. It's not like you're lacing it with fucking Clorox bleach. You grow it.
Hashtag Tide Pod Challenge.
Here in America is it's being laced with. There's a synthetic marijuana being produced, which is harmful, and a lot of them are lacing it with.
It's basically potpourri, is what it is.
You see, that's upsetting. I mean,
so that's the issue in America. It's not that it's good old-fashioned 70s Willie Nelson weed. It's that it's being laced with fentanyl, carbafentanil. It's being laced with oxy. It's being laced with a fucking Ajax, for all you know. A cleaner, like a powder cleaner.
Yeah. We have Ajax too, next to us.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh, that's why you gotta be. I mean, just to buy a bag of weed over here, you gotta be very careful, dude. It's crazy.
That sucks. That is.
Gotta trust your dealer.
All right, so number 3, we've already touched on this a little bit, but gardening is the answer.
Yes.
What are you most proud of?
Yes, no. What do I love the most in this world?
Cultivating weed.
Cultivating weed. Actually, weirdly, I don't even grow. I should. Because like I've got like the sanctuary in my backyard, and I grow like my own fruits and vegetables. I never thought about weed though.
I'm telling you now, brother, that would get a lot of hits.
I think
lot of
so.
views.
The only thing that you're not allowed to do in our country with regards to weed is selling it.
Right.
So you can smoke it, you can make it, you can go crazy. You're just not allowed to sell it.
Yeah, that would get a lot of views over here because there's a lot of drinking.
Can you
over here.
barter with it?
Oh, really? You know what?
Find somebody making like moonshine.
They didn't say that you can't barter it, but I think that would be insinuated that like you can't financially gain from it. And, getting some deer hide for your marijuana pound seems like a financial gain in some way.
But you don't have any zebras in the yard because I know the zebras love to eat that shit. So
do they actually?
I don't know. I'm just kidding. We seem to have a zebra theme going on tonight, and it's been cracking me up. So
it's been prominent. No, we've got a couple of like game parks in South Africa, but it's quite a drive to get there. So you're in Africa and you have to drive, your technologically advanced vehicle across the country, and then you have to pay money to go into Africa and look at animals. I'm like, it's ridiculous. But I understand why, because our country's developed at such a fast rate that there is no bush anymore. It's a city. I mean, if you're in the middle of Cape Town, there's no way of knowing that you're in Africa unless you look at the gigantic Table Mountain, which is one of the wonders of the world. But other than that, though, you will never know that you're in Africa. It's like super first world. Yeah.
Well, nonetheless, I still want to come visit.
I thought I vaguely remembered hearing that Cape Town had a lot of crime in it at one point. Is that true?
There's a lot of crime, but on the outskirts, not in the city. The city's like the
so like
jewel
any other
of the
major
nation.
city.
Yeah, so it's very, very like policed and governed in the city. So you can't, create. I mean, it's their pride and joy. It's their money train. But head out maybe 10 miles and you get to some bad places where you can get shot in your car, type of thing. So.
Yeah, well, I think that's anywhere in the world anymore. There's always going to be some.
Correct. It's always going to be a slum because essentially the city requires workers, and the workers can't travel millions of miles to get there. So on the outskirts of any city, you'll have a lower class labor force.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's like anywhere else. You have nicer areas of a city and less nice areas of a city.
Correct. Exactly that.
Okay, so this is the one I was waiting for. Number 4, the answer is burp.
No one will get this.
What is something you can't do?
Oh, for fuck's sakes. Really?
I'm really good at this.
Yeah. Okay. You got it spot on. I am physically unable to burp.
No way.
Yeah. It's quite a nightmare. Can you imagine? It makes my life quite uncomfortable sometimes.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got like there's a thing in your
you have
throat
like an
that
esophageal
creates
stricture or something.
Exactly that. Jesus, man. Who are you?
I'm fucking amazing.
You are amazing. God. The youngest in the group knows the most in the group.
She's got the sharpest mind.
There we go.
So what? So does that mean? What does that mean for carbonated drinks? So you typically steer clear of them?
I don't touch Coca-Cola, Sprites, any sort of carbonated
That's
drinks.
That's gotta suck though, right? I mean, there's got to be times when you're like, man, I would just love an ice cold Coca-Cola or something. Because I know you had to have it in your life once, right?
Buddha, but Walter, I hope you heard that. He said Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, not Pepsi. I'm sorry. Continue.
Oh yeah, no. You get two types of carbonated drinks. You get Coca-Cola, and then you get a mistake.
I couldn't agree more. We need to have this man on again.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. You want a job?
I feel like Pepsi's too sweet. Like it's too much sugar. I don't know if you guys feel the same. South Africa is a very big Coke nation. Like we wouldn't even like wash our porch with Pepsi. We'd feel too bad.
What is the name of that movie? It was a movie filmed in Africa. It was a big hit, and there was a Coke bottle in it. The gods must be crazy.
Yeah, and when they dropped the Coke bottle on the kid's head.
Yeah.
So politically incorrect nowadays in 2019, but it was hilarious.
Well, it's like Blazing Saddles. That is a movie it's a great movie, but it could not be made today.
There's a lot of movies. What was I watching earlier? And like these dudes were like, Without a Paddle. Like I was going through Netflix and I was bored, so I saw Without a Paddle, which is like a 2003 movie. It's got that Scott something, the little fucking redhead guy.
Seth Green, yeah.
Seth Green, sorry, Seth Green. And I was watching, and then there was a scene where the guy aimed a laser sight on his gun, and then the guy like dips in front of the beam and he puts the dots on his forehead and he's like, "Thank you, come again." Like, you can't do that anymore.
Nope.
Why not? Like, why can't you do that anymore? I mean, they're removing fucking Apu from The Simpsons because he's a stereotype.
I've always said that this day and age, you can't. Either it's all, when it comes to jokes and humor, either it's all okay or none of it is. You know,
Yeah,
I have struggled since I got sick and had the cancer scare. I have struggled with my weight greatly, being stuck at home in a room and my only option for work being YouTube. But I'm not allowed to, as a YouTuber, to make ethnic jokes. I'm not allowed to make jokes for disabled people, even if they're funny and lighthearted, and they're obviously that. But everybody can still laugh at a fat joke.
Everyone's offended.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people look for the next opportunity to be so.
I saw a commercial on Twitter earlier, and I laughed my ass off. Well, I'm not going to say she was chubby. She was fucking fat, and she was moaning about thin privilege. She's like, thin privilege is a thing. I'm watching this poor woman, and she's like, I think it's so unfair that thin people get to fit through these narrow doors, and I can't. I'm like,
Are
really?
doors more narrow in South Africa than the average door?
No. It was an American commercial. She was like referring to this department store that had like a narrow walkway. I mean, it wasn't narrow.
Well, I mean, all
sounds like she
doors
just needs
have
to learn how to walk
wheelchair,
sideways.
though, in America, every public place, the door has to accommodate an average size wheelchair.
Oh, God.
That's concerning.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the way the world's going. I wonder to myself if I'm allowed to breathe, in 2025, or if you have to like apply for a fucking permit before you're allowed to breathe. It's ridiculous, bro.
Well, I'm sure if that family that you referenced in the beginning could figure out how to control air, that would exactly be the case.
Yes, the Gupta family. I see that being a real thing. I mean, let's be honest, the planet's dying. Everyone knows that. Like, I can see the next big tax thing to be oxygen, because I mean they did it with the carbon emissions in the environment, and you've got to pay carbon tax, and I can see oxygen being regulated at one stage eventually.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have to get a ship called the Spaceballs and go invade a planet called Andromeda and steal all their damn air.
I don't know the reference. Damn,
you don't know
what
this
is that
movie
from?
Spaceballs?
I don't.
Oh my God, I have to. I've got
That
to link you
amazing,
to it.
though.
It's you of all people
it's a
will love
classic.
it.
You have to watch it.
Spaceballs.
Yes, it's got a lot of the same people that was in Blazing Saddles and a couple of the Rick Moranis, and it's a Mel Brooks movie.
How do I not know about this?
Oh, it's hilarious, dude. It's a complete rip on Star Wars and Star Trek.
Like, it's 5:30 in the morning. It's 5:30 in the morning. I'm literally, as soon as the show's done, I'm gonna go and find that movie and watch it.
You can thank me later, bro.
I will. Thank you. I like discovering these gems out of nowhere. Like, so what is that movie the other day? Somebody referred me to a movie, and I'm like, what are you talking? And they're like, are you fucking kidding me? And they showed me, and I was like, oh my God, my life has been a total lie. It's insane. I love it.
All right, well, we'll get back to you. I do want to talk about your channel and what brought you to YouTube, what got you started, and where it's headed in the future. But now we're going to hand it over to Belle here for news story number 2.
Cool.
So, do you think we're gonna have time for 3, or should I just skip straight to the?
We're an hour 8 in right now, so you can do what you'd like.
Well, I'll go ahead and do the top 10 South African inventions, because that's the most relevant. Briefly, I do want to touch on, though, the flooding that was happening in Queensland.
I was
Dom
reading
had shared
about
the
this.
news story 2-ish weeks ago now it's been. I think the flood happened like 3 weeks ago, but the news reports, and it was, the gist of it was there were over, I think, 300,000 cattle lost in the floods, and it was going to cost Queensland farmers like $3 million or some ridiculous amount of money from the losses of the flood. And he actually just told me in the stream today that one person died in the floods. So I wanted to briefly cover that because Dom and I had spoken about it before we decided not to do last week's. But the top 10 South African inventions.
Yay!
And I'd be curious, Mr. Flak, to hear the ones that you knew originated in South Africa.
Okay, I'm quite clued up on that, so I'm hoping I do well.
So the CAT scan machine, which stands for computed topography scan, was actually developed by a Cape Town physicist.
I did not know that. Good lord.
Yep.
And that's medically game changing, eh?
Absolutely.
That's insane. Nice one.
Absolutely. It is kind of a the gold standard for diagnosis.
Yeah,
For
that's
pretty much
impressive as shit.
any pain in your body, truthfully.
I've never gone for one myself, but nice to know. Shit. You're welcome, America.
Yeah.
I suppose.
So this one I don't necessarily understand the mechanic behind it, but South Africa developed oil from coal, and it's known as sasol or sasol.
Sasol. Yeah, we've got a fuel provider named Sasol.
Yeah. So basically, the South African government realized that there were minimal oil reserves, so they convert coal to oil and gas, like oil from a coal refinery, basically.
What?
And it provides up to 40% of the country's fuel.
No ways.
Yeah.
That's an old school way of doing it.
Whoa.
The very first heart transplant was performed in Cape Town in December of 1967.
Yes. A
Now-
man named Chris Barnard did it.
Yep. It doesn't say whether it was a successful transplant or not.
It actually was. However, the patient died 2 months later due to complications that would technically link to the heart transplant. However, like shortly after that, 6 months later, he did one, and the guy lived for 20 years thereafter.
Yeah. He went on to perform more than 10 other heart transplants, one of the recipients surviving another 23 years. Now,
Yes.
I'm sure if he were to do them today, if it originated today, it would be very different. That 10 years is the typical lifespan of a transplanted organ. Just in general, you can expect to get about 10 additional years out of a transplanted organ.
That's
Wow.
impressive as shit. That's nice.
That gives guys like me hope.
There we go.
Burger King, game on. No, I'm kidding.
I do feel though that is one of the world changes in terms of medicine.
Oh, it is.
Discovering that you can take an organ and move it to another body. So that was really impressive. In fact, we just recently built a new hospital in Cape Town called the Chris Barnard Memorial Hospital. State of the art, and it's obviously named after him.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. I think the very first successfully transplanted organ was a kidney, and I'm fairly sure it was done at Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia. They benchmark the transplant in some form or fashion, but it might have been liver.
Okay.
I can't recall.
Still really impressive though. I mean, you're talking the 60s, 70s when things just weren't what they were today. It's very impressive.
Yeah. So the creepy crawly, which was the swimming pool is a swimming pool vacuum, like the one that you put into your swimming pool, that originated in South Africa.
Yes, I knew that one. That I'm quite proud of.
I've never heard of this. What is this thing?
So on an automatic pool cleaner, you know, the little thingy you put in your pool.
Like a Roomba, sort of like a Roomba for a
exactly
pool.
A Roomba.
Okay.
Except our one is called the creepy crawly, and before the invention of the creepy crawly, people used to have to manually sweep it up with a big, long, extended broom, essentially.
Right.
And then one of our dudes is like, "Hey, here's a little robot." I still don't understand how they work, but they work. They don't use electricity; they just work.
They use magic.
That's insane. Your dark magic. And
that's right.
Well, I think you have to connect them to a water hose, don't you? At least the ones that I had growing up had to be connected to like a water hose, and that like somehow propelled it. Like it was powered by water.
You connect it to your pump. It's powered via suction. So the same thing that sucks things out of your pool, you connect it to that, and somehow using suction and opening and closing of a certain valve, it somehow moves the item. I don't really understand it, but it's not like a blowing force, it's a sucking force that creates its movement.
Heyo.
Still madness.
I knew that was coming.
So this one I'm not familiar with, but
so did she.
Pratt.
Oh my god, I do that so often to my wife. She hates me. I love it.
I'm the queen if that's what she said, though.
Okay, that's good. Like my wife, like I'm in mid conversation with some like with a possible sponsor, and the guy says something something about anything deep or whatever, and my wife looks at me. She's like, she gives me that look like, don't. I'm like, okay.
Don't even.
That's great.
Pratley's Putty.
Yes, another one.
Created in South Africa, and that's one of the. They were trying to create glue to hold something in an electrical box, and that's how it was discovered. And it actually helped hold bits of the Apollo 11 landing craft together.
Yeah, so basically it's like a clay. You get two types of clay. You mix them together, and then it becomes physical metal. Like, it's the weirdest thing. And you can take this clay and you can mix it together, and you can repair, like they say, the space shuttle. You can repair car components, very, very strong car components, with this putty that becomes physical metal. It's the craziest thing, and it dries underwater. It's like, what?
That's
I don't
insane.
understand. Again, dark magic. Like, you just mix the two compounds together. You've got a big hole in your swimming pool. You just jab it in there, and it becomes metal, to the point where you can physically grind on it and sparks shoot out of it. It is actual metal.
It wasn't developed in a place. I mean, that's stuff that came out of Wakanda. If you get the reference.
Maybe. Yeah. Black Panther funded that shit.
Q20 was created in South Africa.
No ways.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm guessing is like a WD-40. Am I
it's
wrong?
exactly No, you 100% right. It's like a miracle lubricant.
Yeah, so it displaces water. It was designed to displace water from the distribution caps on the old VW Beetles, which would stall in wet weather, like when it would rain out. So that's actually why it was created, was to fix the problem with the distributor caps on a Beetle.
Necessity is the mother of all invention.
Wow, yeah, no, like that is one tool that every mechanic has, WD-40 or Q20. I didn't know it was invented in South Africa, though. That's insane.
Yep, it was invented by a... Yeah, no, Oh, no, it was invented in Pinetown, name I can't say, by Mr. Robertson.
Okay.
KwaZulu-Natal, maybe?
Yeah, KwaZulu-Natal. That's in Durban.
Ah, nailed it!
Nice one. GG.
The retinal cryoprobe was created, so it's basically how cataract surgeries were done up until the early 2000s, or in late 90s, when they began using lasers.
So what exactly is that? Do you have any more information on it? Or?
So it's like an ice probe that was used to go in and do the cataract surgery. So we're like remove the cataract on the eye.
It's so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's insane now. You go spend an hour at the optometrist getting laser surgery and never need glasses again, and in 3 hours you're all healed. And
I think it's so amazing how far we've come as the human race. I mean, like 100 years ago, 120 years ago, there were no cars. 120 years ago, there were no cars. That's insane.
And now in most metropolitan areas, it's no longer a luxury; it's a necessity.
Absolutely. I mean, like if you look at the Teslas, for example, Elon Musk is South African. Woo! You would be shocked at how advanced Teslas are. I mean, they can drive themselves fully now, like those Google cars that they spoke about. They can fully drive themselves.
Yep.
It's insane.
And run on nothing but electricity.
Yeah, exactly.
That it generates itself.
Yeah, through
some
braking
of the models,
and, kinetic redistribution. It's insane.
Yeah. It makes me wonder, are we finally one day going to get the flying cars we were promised?
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Like, it's not 2020 yet,
I was promised in the year 2000 they'd be flying cars.
Yeah. All we got was a bunch of prep at work for a computer apocalypse that never happened.
Y2K. I was promised flying cars, and all I got was this stupid T-shirt and Y2K.
Yeah, Y2K.
The speed gun was created. So I don't know if the speed gun for this purpose is the same as a radar, but I would imagine so, because the device was designed to measure the speed of a cricket ball.
Ah, okay.
It's like the gun they use, the same gun that they use for traffic too.
I'm assuming so.
The handheld ones.
It must have originated from that.
So that works on like a radio frequency, like a bat. So it shoots the signal, and when it receives the signal back, it determines the speed. And they used it for
Exactly.
cricket. South
Yep,
Africa's a very, very big cricket nation.
originally developed it to measure the speed of a cricket ball.
If you guys, if the chat doesn't know what cricket is, it's kind of like baseball but for men.
And played on the ground.
Well, it's kind of a rough
Right.
sport, you know, like American football, right? I mean,
It's like golf and baseball had a baby.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, the
Golf
bat
and
is
base-
5 times wider to hit the ball.
yeah. It's like what I got my ass beat when I misbehaved in first grade. Before they outlawed corporal punishment over here.
And last
Sad
but not
day.
least, the Smart Lock safety syringes were designed in South Africa. And so it was originally designed to prevent against hepatitis and HIV transmission. And what it is like a sleeve that pops up that you can press, and it pops up over the sharp tip of a needle, so that you can't then accidentally, after having injected somebody or drawn blood from somebody, you can't get stuck with that sharp end.
That is awesome.
That is insane.
Yep.
Why
That's
did
so
why
actually a
are they
lot
not
of-
giving these out like what they give the addicts?
Yeah.
I
so
agree.
It's yeah. I'm sure it's not the exact same, but yeah.
No, I love that. It's I mean, you think of like a system that basically allows a needle to be used once and never again. I know it's not really unusable. You could probably remove the safety cap, but it is a great invention.
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked in the healthcare industry before a little bit, and that was one thing I was always deathly afraid of, was getting stuck by a needle or something like that situation, because they were, let's just say that they were not all there mentally, these people that I worked with, and at any time their arms could start flailing and you get stuck with a needle. I've seen it happen.
Wow, that's scary shit. And like in a country like ours, I fully understand. I mean, we are like absolutely riddled with AIDS. I'm not like gaming AIDS, because gaming AIDS and real AIDS are different. Like in the gaming world, everyone has AIDS. Duh.
Right.
And then
AIDS or
in the
cancer.
AIDS or cancer, or your mom has cancer, one of the two, or your
Yeah.
mom slept with your enemy. Or,
Right.
and then in South Africa, like AIDS is it was pretty bad problem. It's getting better now, but so
And
I
you guys
understand
have a
needle
fair
safety.
amount of tuberculosis too, right?
Yeah, further up country, more Central Africa, but there's a big the problem with TB is that TB is like a dormant kind of bad. So you get TB and you take medicine and you'll feel like $1,000,000, but TB sits dormant in your body for months and months on end. So you can't just take the medicine until you feel better. You have to take a year's worth of medicine, and it's really uncomfortably large tablets. So
Yep.
a lot of people
And you
don't
can't drink
finish
while
their
you're on
program.
it either.
Yeah. And I mean, our country is like most people drink in our country. Alcoholism is a massive problem in our country. So like a lot of people don't finish it, and then they dormant TB comes alive, and then they just have TB again. They drain more funds out of the system. Really annoying.
Well, it's like similar in nature to like antibiotic resistance. People will take, so you have strep throat and you get your Z-Pak, and well, Z-Pak's bad example because that's a short, but you get Bactrim for your strep throat, okay? And it's like a 7 days where you take it twice a day. But on day like 3, you're feeling better. So you're like, fuck this, I'm gonna quit taking these meds because like they hurt my tummy. And then you create a resistant strain of strep throat.
And then you literally have a situation where in the future nobody can use that antibiotic for that problem.
Yep.
And
Exactly. It's like a lot of the AIDS. So AIDS is or HIV is a mutating virus. So it very easily becomes accustomed to a single antiretroviral medication. So now you're at the
Correct.
point where you're taking 2, 3, 4 antiretrovirals, whereas 20 years ago, one would keep you out of AIDS territory and keep your CD4 count super high.
Correct, and it's terrible. Like my doctor, it's got this habit of it doesn't matter what's wrong with me. He's like, I'm going to put you on this antibiotic course. I'm like, do I really need an antibiotic, or can't I just use like a general pick me up? I mean, I've got a cold. I'm not dead.
Give me some vitamin C.
Just
and
go
send me
chew
my
on
way.
a garlic clove.
There we go.
Well, I think all the dirt I ate as a child has given me any anti-viral that I needed for my lifetime.
Oh,
Perfect.
good Lord, yes. When I was a kid, nobody had allergies.
Yeah,
No.
weirdly, eh? Nobody had
Yeah.
allergies. Nobody was sickly. Everyone lived till they were 85. It was like, come on. Now, modern day, you're eating these unusually large fruits, and everyone's dying unusually quickly.
Yeah, it's insanity.
Well, I'm
strange.
never going to say no to big melons.
No, absolutely. I mean, like every night I could climb into bed, I enjoy 2 large melons myself. But I have to say that's the reason why I started growing vegetables and fruit myself, because I don't trust the shit that you buy in the store.
Yep.
Like I'm sorry, it's out of season. How the fuck do you have avocado?
For
That's
99
impossible.
cents.
You've grown that shit in a lab. But don't lie to me. You've grown that shit in a lab. I'll make my own. Thank you.
There's actually a company on the West Coast here that does petri dish meat that you can order.
That's a firm no from the Fasulo Gaming compound.
Massive no. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I want natural foods, and I don't know if you guys are into seeing like the animal slaughterhouses and stuff, and like the conditions are so poor compared to what they used to be. Everything is just about getting as much product out as possible because the world is massively overpopulated.
Yep.
It's sad. Like chickens don't grow up on farms and then get slaughtered. It's just this conveyor belts, this automation of pumping out as much chicken as you can because KFC needs it. And it's like these chickens are not shaped like chickens anymore. I saw photographs of chickens from the 50s, and they look like the chickens that you see on the books when you were kids. But now chickens are big balls of meat, inflated balls of meat, and they're pumped with hormones to get big quickly.
Yep.
Like 2 weeks ago, they were baby chicks, and now they are massive, fully grown chickens. Like,
well, and some of that also is portion control and serving size.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah, you can't go to McDonald's anymore. You used to be able to go there and buy something.
Of meat you should have at any one meal.
Exactly.
When's the last time you truly had a piece of meat that was only the size of your palm?
Never.
Honestly, like, yeah.
Or if I do, it's off the dollar menu, and there's 4 of them.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, you go to McDonald's, you don't just get an average Big Mac meal. You've got to buy like a huge thing just to fill yourself. Because like I feel like the food isn't even filling anymore. It's like it's so laced with MSG that your body just like ignores any form of satisfaction in terms of I've eaten enough. And it's just like you just have to buy more. Everything is just designed to, like, I don't know if you guys know about the Google that permanently listens to you story.
Oh, I'm 100%. I'm convinced it does.
So I watched this video on YouTube the other day, and basically any microphone that you have that has Google signed in, so your computer, your cell phone that uses Android, anything that is paired with a Google account that has a microphone is in a state of always listening. And a guy proved it on the internet the other day. He bought a brand new laptop, he created a brand new Gmail account, and he did some browsing, and they found basically generic run-of-the-mill ads. Then he closed up everything, like shut down his web pages, but his phone was on. And then he spent 15 minutes talking to his viewers about how badly he wants to purchase dog toys. And then he opened up the laptop, he opened up the web page, and he browsed to a run-of-the-mill news site. And on the right of the page, true as fuck, they were advertising dog toys from Amazon.
Yeah.
That is
so
shocking.
That's why I keep getting ads for naked pictures of B. Arthur.
Yep.
Exactly.
It is.
Also, I just keep on getting these massive, penis enlargement commercials. And it's like, are you in Cape Town with average size penis? Where's these ads coming from?
How do they know?
Yeah. Like, how do... like, I can't...
It's like the Rod White story about being naked eating Cheetos. Watching TV, he was watching, the commercial came on. He's like, "Are you lonely? Yeah. Are you in need of love? Yeah. Are you naked eating Cheetos in a beanbag right now? Yeah. Would you like to send $50? Close."
I love that. But it's funny though, because I actually tested the theory myself not too long ago by accident. So I've got this small property at the back of my house where I can rent out to other people. I don't, but I'm going to be doing that soon. So I was busy prepping the little apartment to get it ready for a tenant, and I needed 2 items. I needed a wheelbarrow and I needed a ladder so I could paint the roof. So I don't have those items because I'm not that DIY inspired, and I mean I'm a relatively new homeowner, so I don't have a lot of my own tools. So I said that to my wife, that I need a wheelbarrow and I need a ladder. She said, "Okay, cool. Do you want to go to the neighbors, borrow theirs?" I went to the neighbors and borrowed theirs. But I swear to God, that night when I logged into my phone and I checked my spam folder, they literally sent me an advert from a place called Builder's Warehouse, which does like random building tools and stuff, which is basically like your Home Depot. And they were advertising 2 items on that flyer, on that digital flyer: ladders and wheelbarrows.
That's
What?
crazy.
Well, so
That's
before
creepy.
the stream, Buddha, myself, and a couple of our other friends, and Tom were in a different TeamSpeak, and we had talked about, like, we had mentioned Louis Vuitton. I said I really would love a Louis Vuitton purse. Like, you know, it's a thing I talk about often. And I visit PC Gamer, like, probably twice a week to look for any pertinent news stories that I want to mention. Never once have I seen a Louis Vuitton ad on there. And then we talked about it, and when I went on there tonight to look at the news stories, after we had that conversation, there was an advertisement
Louis Vuitton.
for Louis Vuitton.
Fuck it, it's some scary shit. So I don't like where the world's going. They are Google runs the world. We all know that, and they are pointing everything that they need to where they need to be. You don't get to make a free selection anymore. You just get to buy something from one of Google's advertisers. That's it. You don't get to you don't have free will. When you run a standard Google search, you're not getting a Google search result. You're getting which results are most friendly to Google's advertisers. That's the result you get.
Well, that's how it knows when you say the trigger words to bring up your search. It has to always be listening for that. Similar to that device from Amazon that many people have in their homes.
Alexa. If
Yeah.
you're allowed to say that on YouTube, I don't know if I'll
No,
stop
you are. I just, if anyone happens to have it playing open and they have one, I didn't want it
You
to
just
start
pissed off
listening.
like 10 people.
That's so rude.
Alexa, subscribe to Mr. Flak on YouTube.
Very nice.
Well, thank you.
Oh, so was that the end of the list, Belle? I didn't know if you'd gotten all 10 in.
Nope, that would be it.
Awesome. All right, well, we got one more break here, and I'm sure it's the Boscarelli family. It's a favorite here, and I'm sure Flak, you'll like it too. And we come back. Tom, did you have a rant this week?
That's a firm, sir.
That's an A firm. All right, we'll come back with that, and then we'll finish up with Mr. Flak before we head out the door. So we'll be right back. Do you play popular games like Grand Theft Auto, PUBG, Fortnite, and more?
You suck at those games and stop being a loser who gets laughed at out of the game? You want to be the best at something that doesn't change your real life dweeb shlomo living hood adjacent in your mom's basement social status?
Then you need to visit Help I'm a Pathetic Loser and Need Help Cheating at Games I Suck at.mafia.org/modded game account /nothing too illegal to see here.
Hi, I'm Vinny, hung jury Boscarelli.
And I'm Georgie 3 Nips Boscarelli.
For the Boscarelli Family Gaming Institute of Higher Game Fixing.
We love gaming.
And hate losing.
Yeah, so we started a school with what then weekend swindle.
No, Georgie, you can't say that. You gotta say the other thing.
Right. I mean, help other gamers become winners by offering them legal modded gaming accounts to give them the edge that the average schmucko doesn't have the cojones or the big boy skills to muster for himself.
That's right, Georgie. We got all sorts of them modded accounts for those popular games that these kids are playing online. Need to gain an edge over the competition in your fave first-person shooter? We got you covered.
Yeah, maybe you're a casual gamer who enjoys trolling the gabagool out of randos because you're a pathetic, miserable schmucko scumbag. Get one of our patented, not illegal modded accounts, and you'll be griefing other players in no time flat, like the lame-o potato-sucking jerk-off you can't help but be.
Our website checkout system and delivery are second to none, and your information is protected and safe.
We take your info security safely, because how else would we keep it secure to swindle
Georgie, remember the thing that the lawyer Stooley told.
I mean, store your info securely to make future purchases a breeze.
We also offer a loan shark program where you can buy modded accounts and pay as you go without simple credit option.
That's right. Simply put, you sign on a dotted line and pay us back with a 200% interest VIG Oh, we take your limbs.
off your trees and hold them limbs until you bring those accounts current.
That's right. So visit us on the dark web today at help. I'm a pathetic loser and need help cheating at games I suck at. .mafia.org/modded game account /nothing illegal to see here. Once again, that's help. I'm a pathetic loser and need help cheating at games I suck at. .mafia.org/modded game account /nothing illegal to see here. And start winning today.
Hey honeys, you listening to the Budda Show right here on Q92 WCTR, honey. That's the only place for talk radio worth hearing, baby.
And we are back.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! I love the Boscarellis.
That was great.
I heard that they're getting ready to sell some other stuff.
Yeah, they got a new secret project they were working on. It was released. They unveiled it at the Dark Web Con, but I couldn't get over there to Istanbul. I don't know where that was going. So, Mr. Tom, welcome back, sir. I am excited to hear your rant.
Oh, this is going to be a good one. This ties in a couple things. So, I don't know if anybody's seen, Amazon is now getting into the gaming world, besides like the whole Twitch platform, with a game called New World.
This is an Amazon-developed game of sorts?
Amazon, and I forgot what the other studio that they're collabing with on it. So it's going to be an MMO, right? I think it's placed in the 1600s. So back in the day, where you just have like the rock to live, right? The rock and a spear and everything else. Already catching shit, right? They released, I think, 2 hours of gameplay as a teaser to the public. Catching shit because in the beginning screen of the game, you have to choose whether you want to be a male or a female.
Are you joking?
Not at all.
Are people angry about that?
Yes, sir.
What is it? Because Caitlyn Jenner's not an option?
Well, the thing is Caitlyn Jenner still identified.
That they feel that it's Amazon corporate is taking the lazy way out and trying to play it safe and trying to stay out of that limelight of putting their hat into any kind of what people identify as.
Fuck anyone who thinks that that's a problem. I'm sorry. Yeah. For years, gaming has always been select your gender, select your name, select your race, go. That's bullshit. Sorry, continue.
Well, an off branch of that, has anyone seen or read or heard of this new concept of theybies?
Of what? Of babies?
I'll take that as a no.
Theybies.
Theybies.
Like baby's crazy, but
So it's basically a gender neutral infant. So you're not calling the child a boy or a girl. No, you're letting them decide for themselves.
I hate Earth. All of it.
I'm going to quote Professor Farnsworth from Futurama. I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I was thinking of that meme right now, I swear to God. Our minds are already becoming one.
So theybies are bitching because there's no because there's only two genders in the game.
Correct.
Good. They be crazy. That's all I got to say.
But the whole point of the game is to start repopulation of the world, right? I think that's the lore to the game is that.
Oh, so is there sexual content and nudity in this game?
Well,
my favorite kind.
Right?
I don't know. But like we've gotten to the point that having the choice of a male or a female character is no longer enough.
That's ridiculous.
But and I don't wish to speak about anything regarding transgender. I don't want to know anybody's opinion. I don't care about anybody's opinion but my own about it. So that's not where I'm going with this. So let's not discuss it. But the reality of it is you do need to have male reproductive parts and female reproductive parts to continue
Thank you.
population.
Yep.
It is science. It is physics.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Like I like your boyish hairstyle. Like that you don't identify. Whatever, you have your thing. I'm a dickhead. That's my thing. But you need two components when it comes to making a baby.
Like that part is
Unfortunately-
non-negotiable at this junction, right? So I'm sure in the
Unfortunately.
future, babies are going to be grown in a lab or on a farm, and it's going to be great.
I
But,
saw in the Matrix. Exactly
Exactly.
what's going to happen.
but to this point in 2019, you still need a vas deferens, which is what transmits the sperm from your balls out.
You need a
And a
pitcher to
uterus
catch a
and,
baby.
and ovaries and fallopian tubes. Like you still need.
Excluding Brokeback.
Excluding, well,
Yeah,
they didn't make it.
uh,
They didn't make handsome cowboy babies because physically it's impossible.
Like
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
reality of things. If you wish
It's
to
unfortunate, yeah.
continue population, if you wish to start a population, you gotta have those two things. It's not really
Yeah.
negotiable.
Yeah.
Like unfortunately, we live in a world of technology where unfortunately, you know, two lovely ladies that feel like they want to be, you know, identified as different genders, and they are lesbians, and they, you know, whatever, they're in love. They cannot create a baby, unfortunately, without the male components. And two males. Sorry, not, I can't say males. That's not politically correct apparently. But two people that were once born as males, let's call it that, cannot make a baby without the woman.
Right, not together anyway, right? So there's artificial insemination, there's surrogacy, there are ways, but the reality still holds true.
You need both components.
You need both components.
You need eggs and you need fertilizer. And
Exactly.
unfortunately, yeah, that is so annoying. I actually feel irritated right now, like by the concept of people getting upset about choosing male or female in a game. Yo, we are completely stealing this guy's bit, but I get what you're saying. Fuck me.
He's used to it.
So
Sorry,
my
go-
rant
It
next
don't
week
matter.
will
I
be-
mean, it's
my rant will next week will be how my rant is stolen.
Oh, I love that.
that's what I was
Or
about
the
to
fa-
say. It
or
don't matter.
the
He's going to
fact
chime
that
up when he
this is
wants to.
now
That's
what,
the way it
the
works.
What is this? The 8th show? This is number 8. Right, we're on our 8th show right now.
I think
Yes,
so.
8th.
That in the fucking description, my name can't be spelled correctly.
Is it misspelled?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I missed that. I'm sorry.
No, that's the common one with me.
But the
because
link
6
is
letters
right.
So fucking,
Damn
the
it.
link is right.
Did you click on it to make sure? Maybe there's a Fusilio Gaming out there.
Well, no, I clicked on the glittery bell link and it took me there.
Yeah. See, I linked you twice
You linked me twice. That
Twice.
you did. That you did.
because I knew
No.
they'd ask. Because, oh my God, a girl gamer.
So,
And hey, they can't tell girl gamers apart. Everyone thinks I'm Buffy. Everyone thinks Buffy is me.
Buffy just uses a voice changer. We
Yeah.
already decided.
I've
that
been
in the chat
accused of
earlier.
being Jacksepticeye before. I've been confused with him.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. Can't you tell
So
the
continue
difference
on,
in our
Tom.
voice? There's like
I
little.
can't. You guys sound exactly the same.
So there's a couple people that I watch that do these kind of like ranty things, like common in the gaming world, and it's what's the expectation of now the programmers coming in to say, oh shit, now I have to stay away from this, and now I have to stay away from that. Where you think that the gaming is going to go, where it's all going to be non-gender, non-binary. We're going to have to make up fucking aliens so this group doesn't get offended or that group doesn't get offended. But when, like, it's insane.
Until space exploration actually unearths aliens, then they're going to see our SJW culture and go, okay, now I'm offended.
You see, that's the thing. I feel that there will be no limitation to this because, yes, say you take out genders out of a game and you add a sprite of some sort, some genderless fucking character of some sort, and then someone's going to be offended and say that that genderless character that you've made completely bald and without parts is insulting to people that have had botched gender reassignment surgeries, and it's insulting to bald people, and they will just hop on the next fucking train. and moan about that. It's never going to stop.
Nope, they won't stop until everybody is miserable as they are.
And just look at Rust. You start out naked, right? I'm sure there's a group of fucking offended ass people that the body is equipped the way it is, and that shouldn't be in the game. When that's the whole point of the game, is that you just drop there and you got to survive from being naked.
Right. Well, the pixelation in the game, I started playing it when it first came out. Pixelation in the game wasn't something that used to be there.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
It was a short time.
And in Scum, for example, you can only be male, so that's obviously toxic masculinity, right?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Friggin' massive.
Woman.
Friggin' masochist.
Yeah, Jesus, man.
I guess I just don't get that, because I'm a girl. I feel like I'm the one that's supposed to be able to relate to that, right? The toxic masculinity. And I don't know if it was because my dad had such a hand in my upbringing. Like, I wish a motherfucker would try to toxic masculinity me.
That'd be great.
Like, I don't feel like it's that big of an issue.
I agree. You don't have to be offended by everything. Like, can I tell a quick Scum joke?
Sure.
Why are there no females in Scum?
Why?
Because there are no kitchens in Scum.
That's
Apologies.
awesome.
I literally just made that up.
I like Scum for one reason nowadays. This is the only reason until they further advance the game more towards the end game of removing the implant and escaping the island. The only reason I like it now is because you can literally defecate on and urinate on people in the game.
That is all that matters.
You can kill your opponent and then take a dump on his face.
Well, there are some inaccuracies to it as well, though. Like the vitamin D thing, when you eat animal fat, your vitamin D should go up.
Yeah.
Not down.
Yeah,
and it doesn't. So that's an inaccuracy. If you're going to make a game that's so focused on those points, then make them accurate.
The nutrition, yeah. Okay.
Yep. I'll tell you what, playing a lot of Scum and then coming back to Rust after taking a break for like 2 years, I was so glad to be playing a game where I didn't have to worry every minute about 19 different minerals and 23 different vitamins or whatever the hell it was.
I do like Rust for that reason. It's a very pick up and play. You've got your hunger, you've got your thirst, and you've got your health. That's it.
That's it.
You know, it's nice and simple. I don't want gaming to be a chore. I don't want to sit and look at 23 parameters and stress that I need to take a shit or fight the zombie. You know what I mean?
And well, if you don't take the shit, then you shit while you're fighting the zombie.
Exactly. And that just doesn't seem very.
And then just craft new pants.
Yeah.
Well, but it's not realistic. So that would be part of your sympathetic nervous system in your fight or flight.
Yeah.
You would not have to shit or pee while you are actively fighting for your life. Your body, it doesn't happen. Your body shuts those things down.
Yeah, you physically would never be able to get it out. Yeah.
Right.
Which is why women can just stop urinating just on a dime.
Oh, God.
I pull over to the side of the road and I'm behind that tree till it's done. Once I release it, that's it.
Release the Kraken.
So coming full circle, you guys should check out the game. It actually does look pretty interesting the way they have it set up.
I feel confident we'll be playing it.
I have a content creator friend, Oblivion. He's from the UK. And Amazon flew him out to go test the game.
Oh, really?
And what were his thoughts? Or are you able to share that?
I haven't discussed it with him, but probably a secrecy clause, I can imagine, because it was an all expenses paid vibe. And I just heard in passing that he said it's an Amazon game that Amazon's making. So I'm assuming it's what you're talking about. But I haven't confirmed it yet, but I don't know if Amazon making any other games.
The gameplay can be found on YouTube, like whatever they did release for like media purposes.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go check this out.
I'll ask him about it, and then I'll circle back to you guys to give you some insider juice.
That would be awesome, man. That would be absolutely awesome.
No worries.
That would be absolutely awesome. So back real quick here, we're running long on time. Back to you, Mr. Flak, and your channel. So real quick, and this question came about to me while we were talking in the last segment with you. What brought you to YouTube?
Quite simply, I used to adore YouTubers. I loved the whole the whole fact that you can sort of become a celebrity online by just doing something. And I used to adore certain YouTubers, and I used to comment on all of their videos, and I really got irritated when I never got commented back. You got these relatively small time people that aren't that popular, but they still can't reply to your comments. So
Right.
I wanted to get into content creating to not only produce videos and make some extra cash, but also to reply to people in a way like you were their mate. And I mean, I'm quite big now, but up until this point, I still reply to every single comment on every single video.
Yes, you're very good about that. I struggle sometimes with everything that's going on, but I try very hard to do
No,
that.
it is tough. I mean, sometimes I'm sit for literally 4 or 5 hours replying to comments on my videos. It's difficult. However, I remember getting a reply from a YouTuber once, and it made my day. And when I reply to people now, and they're like, "Oh God, you made my week," it's the nicest thing. You just literally said, "Thanks, dude," and you gave him a freaking heart emoji, and the dude, like, you've made someone's day brighter by just saying something to them. Like, that's magic. Like, you have the ability to spread happiness. And I got into YouTubing to try and make people happier, get stupid rich. But I mean, like, more happiness than rich.
Well, it's
So-
putting positive light into the world when there's
Yes.
a
I wa- I
desperate
want- I
need
want- I
for
want
it.
to- I think so. I think the world is way too negative, and everyone's looking for like this cloud. So just hearing these comments, and like I get it all the time. You get these comments that like you've changed my life. You've helped me with depression, and it's like I don't see myself as doing that, but it's just really nice to know that I'm impacting at least certain people. You still get those toxic, ugly cunts that swear to me in all sorts of language and call me all sorts of N-words, and you can't stop. You can't make everyone happy. You can't satisfy everybody. But like just with my phone in hand and 10 minutes to spare, I can brighten up 5 people's days. I love that.
Yep.
I fucking love that.
And you're all about community too, which is the biggest reason. Like
Absolutely.
when I DM'd you out of the blue, asking if it was okay if I use some of your content for a funny video.
Best video ever.
You were thanks. You were just so it was like you treated me like we've been talking for years.
I like that. I feel like no YouTuber is bigger than any viewer, because without viewers, YouTubers wouldn't exist. You'd just be weird fucking guys making videos on the internet. But like, the viewer is the YouTuber.
You hear
And
this,
like,
folks? It's truth. There's enough Eden to go around.
Absolutely. You're not better than anyone because you're a YouTuber. Without your viewers, you would be literally nothing. And like, I want to make a positive footprint on YouTube. So I don't want to take. Like, I'm very against gambling adverts. I don't do gambling adverts whatsoever, because like my childhood was ripped apart by gambling. But at the same time, I don't want to be one of those guys that spam 30 adverts on their video, and give the viewer everything I do for my viewer. I try and make my editing as clean as possible so they can have a nice quick episode. They don't have to watch any boring footage. I don't over spam my videos on adverts, and I just do videos with my gaming community. Like, I do a lot of charity work behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know that I spend my family spends a large amount of our time just like handing out food and sort of like soup kitchen style things, but not quite that. And a lot of animal shelter work. But I don't feel that a YouTuber should take a camera with him to do charity work. I don't think so, because it feels like you're getting sympathy, or you're trying to get that vote, that cute factor.
Yep. And
I want charity to be about giving back. I don't want it to ever say, "Hey guys, look how many people I fed today." Like, what do you want a fucking pat on the back?
You're not looking for psychological validation in a banana sticker.
Exactly. What is charity? Charity is helping less fortunate. So why are you putting it on the internet? Like, I hate those videos. You see this guy like going to a homeless guy and he buys him a pair of shoes. Like, some dude standing there filming this. Like, that homeless man is already vulnerable and feeling sad. Now you're sticking a camera in his face while you're doing something nice for him. Fuck that. It's rude.
Yep.
That's very rude.
Exactly.
But John, that's just me.
So where? Now, I was going to ask you that too about your thoughts on, Rusty Pod and all of these websites, and I know this is circling back to Rust, but what are your thoughts on that? Like, I've even been offered, I won't say which site, but I've been offered it, an affiliate type thing, like a very low level one, but I turned it down because I just don't believe in it. There's a lot of young viewers that watch my channel.
And I'm on the same train as you. I've also been offered very, very large amounts of money from, I'm not going to say who, and they do gambling. So they would get kids to spend money on hopefully winning something, but possibly not. And I almost lost my childhood home through gambling. I had a very, very bad growing up or upbringing because of gambling, because, people get addicted and people do stupid things when they're addicted. And to teach a child the concept of gambling, because let's be honest, whether it's physical money or whether it's skins, if you're putting in money and you are getting a higher value back, you're getting the rush of gambling. You're getting there is a chance you can get a lot more than what you currently have by doing this thing. And that is it's a motor skill, like talking or teaching a kid to be courteous or well-mannered. It is instilled in them for life. You teach a 10-year-old how to gamble, he's going to be a gambling addict when he's older. It's a fact. And I was offered and I turned them down. I don't do any forms of liquor promotion or gambling because I don't feel that kids have the mental capacity to understand what they're getting themselves into. It's a fun game for them, but they don't realize the psychological damage that is physically happening to them when they're learning these traits. So very, very against it. And I will never in my life promote anything that I do not personally love. Like I've even had computer manufacturers come to me and say, would you like this gaming machine? But because I'm very salty or very angry towards their brand due to past experiences, I would turn them down because I am not willing to promote something that I do not personally love. Because I'd like my brand essentially to be a seal of approval from Mr. Flak type of thing.
That's what endorsements originally were years ago in every industry that does it.
Before people started selling out.
Right, and exactly.
I don't want to do that. I got this gaming chair from a brand called Cougar, and they didn't pay me to review it, but they gave me a chair. But I absolutely love the chair. It's German made, it's leather, it's brilliant. And I, for the rest of my life, will promote this brand because they didn't pay me a cent. However, I love their stuff. Their stuff is good and metal and strong. So, if I have a good experience, I'll rep you for life for free, no problems. But if I had a bad experience, don't expect to offer me $2,000 to say that this is nice when it's not, because I'll be like, get fucked. That is terrible. Your mother, fuck off. That's how I will be. So I don't know. I'm pretty old fashioned. My dad was very strict. He passed away when I was very young, but he was very strict. And he taught me a lot of very interesting things about manners and about morals and about sticking to your guns, that type of upbringing, very old fashioned, American style dad in South Africa. But, and that's the type of values I try and teach my kid now. I don't drink because a large part of my childhood also got damaged due to drinking. So I'm just trying to make the world a better place. My dad always told me when I was young, he always told me, try and leave the world better than when you arrived. And that's how I want to live my life.
That's great advice too.
I think it's great. I think if everybody in the world made it their goal to leave the earth better than when they arrived, the world will be a utopia.
Yep. Absolutely.
But unfortunately, due to profits and due to greed, and it will never get there. However, you can't change the world, but you can be a part of a change. So small little bits and pieces here and there, being courteous, waving at somebody, being nice to someone and not being a general cunt like me, you actually can spread a lot more positivity. It's a waterfall effect. You change someone's life, they have the ability to change someone's life. And so the waterfall flows.
So I like what you've said there, with we should aim to leave the earth better than when we arrived
Absolutely.
on it. And I don't identify with any one religion, right? I believe bits and pieces from all of them. But if I was forced to choose a religion, I would probably most closely identify with Buddhism, because that's kind of the theory behind it. You put good into the world and you aim to get good back out.
Yep. But I don't agree with all creatures, because I'll stomp on a frickin' spider.
Absolutely. And I'm still going to eat meat. I love steak. It is what it is.
Yeah,
but aside from those two things, the whole goal is to reach nirvana, and you do so by putting good into the world.
I love that. That is so true. No one's perfect. No one is a god. So some people enjoy a beer. So fucking what? They're not, as long as you don't go down that beer, put your family at financial risk and go beat your wife.
Yep.
Everyone knows you only beat your wife when
even though
overcooks the
she
steak.
enjoys it. Yeah. Or serves dinner cold.
But yes, it's nobody's perfect. But just try and be a nice fucking guy, I suppose, or girl. Sorry, guys on the chat. Try and be a nice girl too. Sorry if you
try and be a nice human.
Be a good human. Don't be a dick.
That's right, and that's what it's about. I mean, that surpasses all of these problems we talked about during the show. If you just look at people as other human beings, you know. But we're all compartmentalized. We're all. I don't care what they say. You know, they say watching porn that objectifies women. Well, society objectifies everybody every day in one way or another.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, like I fucking like porn. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna be one of those guys that, oh, porn's bad. Well, you know, it's kind of done me pretty good over my lifetime. I'm delighted. You know.
Yeah. So last question, where do you see your channel going for the rest of this year, and like where in a year, where do you expect things to be? Because I know you're doing Twitch and you're not doing streams on YouTube and all of that.
I think like in a 3-way race with PewDiePie and T-Series, like I see me being there.
That's right. Dream big or go home, right?
No, but realistically though, I do want to grow my size a little bit better. Try and get into a lot more real life stuff and not only gaming. So be a source of gaming. I want to be like the average gamer. I'm no Jedi when it comes to gaming skills, and a lot of the people out there aren't Jedis either. And you got these creators that are out there that are just so skilled that it's staggering. And while it's good for them, I often watch these videos and feel bad about my own ability. So I just want to be that average Joe that's got that average family and that average house that likes to fucking game. You know, a relatable gamer.
Yep. I know exactly where you're coming from. That's my life. I live it.
Because at the end of the day, not every gamer is 15 years old. Sometimes a gamer is 40 years old. Yep. Sometimes a gamer misses that one fucking shot. Sometimes a gamer like is a bit chubby. You know, fucking life happens, bro. Like not everyone is Justin Bieber or Ninja, you know, with neon blue hair. Sometimes we just like fucking games. And I just want to be that source, that go-to guy that, you know, you can watch, you can have a laugh, and you don't have to feel threatened by my ability. You don't have to feel like awkward. It's just like, just be that source. So grow a bit more, essentially, get my name out there more. I'm already the most popular gamer in Africa in terms of the my viewer numbers, but that is purely due to my Rust content. I'd like to become maybe a face in the local gaming scene, that people recognize me more. Not necessarily recognize me as like a type of celebrity, but recognize me as a source to go to when they need anything, from finding out about that new game or you know, testing some hardware here and there. And basically like a dude in the industry, like that dude. I want to be that dude.
Yeah, just like you said, a gamer's gamer.
There we go. The all-round gamer.
Awesome. Well, you are a stand-up dude, and Flak, we really appreciate you being here. This has been, these shows keep getting better and better as we hone down the style and get used to the format. Oh, we've really appreciated you being here. I know I have. I've been looking forward to this. You've been very entertaining, and to learn more about you and learn that, you know, you are exactly the stand-up guy you appear to be. I mean, that's very refreshing.
Ah, thank you. I really appreciate it. Can I do one thing quickly though? Somebody in the chat earlier asked if I can teach the chat Afrikaans, which is like one of our other languages.
That'll be a great way to end the show.
If you don't mind, like he asked for it, and I feel bad because you're already.
I've even got some good theme music for it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, a little reggae.
Welcome to the Jungle. I feel like Welcome to the Jungle would be more apt.
Absolutely.
Copyright strike.
There, you just said in the chat now. Oh, you don't have to. No, it's fine. I'm going to teach you a few words, chat, about Afrikaans. That is one of the languages that they used in District 9, I think it was. That alien movie.
That was a great movie, by the way.
It was District 9, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. Some of the language there is Afrikaans, and then also in Chappie, the robot movie, there was a lot of Afrikaans in that movie. But now I need some words that I can convert in Afrikaans, and I don't know what. Do you guys have any suggestions?
Let's see.
What about like a hello, how are you?
Yeah, there you go.
Or hey, what's up type?
Okay. So when you go to somebody and you be like, hello, it's nice to meet you. You'd say like, aangenaam en kennis.
Aangenaam en kennis.
No, God, no, that's terrible. Aangenaam en kennis.
Aangenaam. What now?
In kennis.
That's
I'm not
awesome.
even gonna try. Forget about it.
Aangenaam en kennis, and then like they would reply and say like how is it going? You'd say hoe gaan dit?
That sounds vaguely Dutch.
It's Dutch slang. So South Africa's white people were created by Dutch coming from Holland and settling in Cape Town, and then watering down the Dutch over years, and it became basically Dutch slang, which is Afrikaans. So our languages are almost identical, Dutch and Afrikaans.
That's
By the way, this
interesting.
is like the first geographical, political thing, historical thing I've ever remotely gotten right. So let's celebrate that for a moment.
Yeah. Woo, slow clap. I can't
Okay,
clap
so
'cause I'm
what's a common way to tell people off in Afrikaans? Like how?
Okay, so we've got this thing where like if you get violently angry and you want to insult somebody, you insult their mother essentially. So you would essentially say, which doesn't really make sense, your mother's vagina. Yeah. So you would go to them and you'd say your ma's a puss.
Where have
That
I
doesn't
heard
sound
that?
nearly
I
as
swear
exciting
I've
as I
heard
thought
that
it would.
before.
Oh, you must have heard it. Like it's like any South African loses their absolute tits. They just start swearing out each other's mothers, and it doesn't really make quite sense. So
I love that yo mama jokes are worldwide though.
Oh, they're globally funny. You can't stop really. So your masterpuss, and then the people know like, and then they say like just let's say like are you. The funny thing is just directly translates to horny. However, if you use it in a South African term, like "are you just," it's like are you are you crazy? How dare you? Type of thing. You know what I mean? So you go to someone, and if you've got two people fighting, and someone's like, "are you just?" Then no, whoa, hold on. You know.
Now I have to look up a road
Shit.
rage argument in Afrikaans on.
Oh my god, it's disgusting. I want to send you a link. I've seen some violent Afrikaans fighting on the internet. It's the best kind of fighting because like. Yeah, like you'd think they're just about to bro down, and then they start throwing down. It's the best. Like, oh, I love it. Best kind of fights. And but yeah, like individual words, like for example, a dog is a hond, and very often you get words that are quite similar, like cat, which is kat, so it's cat with a K. And a bird is a fool, and it's quite similar to it's almost the same as Dutch, essentially. Like if I go to Holland now, I would survive. Like without struggling.
But they would know though, right? They would
know. A lot of their, like for example, a lot of our Afrikaans S's becomes Z's in Dutch.
Okay.
And sometimes their K's and their T's are switched around to ours, but for the most part it's mostly the same language. Like I could probably speak Afrikaans to a Dutchman and have a Dutchman reply in Dutch to me without like too much of a language barrier. Like we'd get it. It wouldn't be like a Chinese person and a Japanese person speaking to one another, because that's Japanese and Mandarin. It's totally different. Like this is mostly the same. It's basically like, you know, having a guy from the city go into the ghetto and speak to like the brothers. Like,
well, or if you
he wouldn't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. You. I was done basically. He would like if you get a normal upstanding stock market boy that goes to, you know, the projects, like. It would be a lot of slang used, but essentially they would fully understand like what they're talking about. It's essentially just slang.
I'm on Google Translate now. This is going to be fun.
Oh,
God, it's tragic. It is. Oh, good Lord.
I would probably liken it to the different dialects of Spanish too. So like European, like Spain Spanish is wildly different than Mexican Spanish.
Yes, that is literally exactly it. It was originated from a source, and it was altered over years of separation. You had a bunch of Spanish dudes that went to Mexico, and they remember it's like broken telephone.
Yeah, I mean, I can do okay with Spain Spanish. Like I can kind of understand a decent amount of it, but South American type Spanish I can't. There's the dialect is too different.
So European Spanish is what I can imagine as high schoolers learned in high school.
No, actually they teach Mexican, like South American Spanish.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my stepdad's from Spain, born and raised. I've been there a couple times.
Is his name Fernando?
No, sadly it's not. It's Jose.
That's a
Fernando.
Yeah. There's nothing better than like a sexy Italian lead in a movie. My name is Fernando, You know, that's the best. I love
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
No, anything that I learned prior to schooling was from him, from my grandmother, who doesn't really speak any English at all. So if I wanted to communicate with her, I had to rough it and try to speak Spanish to her and then understand it back.
I love that. It's like Jane the Virgin.
Yeah.
Exactly like the TV show. Like the grandmother from Spain can only speak Spanish. And so Jane always like listens to her Spanish and replies in English, and then she moans, and it's just great. I love language. Like I feel like the world is going to be dominated by 3 languages in the future, which is going to be Spanish, English, and Mandarin. But like I feel that everybody should know at least some form of European dialect and some form of Asian dialect, so that they could just like start smashing these language barriers together. Because like most people in our circles speak English, but we don't realize that like in certain parts of Europe and lots of parts of Asia, like they can barely speak English there. Like people shouldn't just assume that their language is like alpha.
Right.
Like in South Africa, we have 11 official languages.
English, I mean Italian and Spanish and Portuguese. If you know one firmly, you'll be able to understand the others.
Yeah, you see that helps a lot. Like in our country, we've got 11 languages, 11 official languages that are recognized by our South African government. So you know when you go to like the Mexican border, it'll say like you're now entering Mexico, and then it will say you're now entering Mexico, but in Spanish. In our country, on our official documentation, we have 11 versions or 10 other versions of the English phrase public library, and then public bibliotheek, which is Afrikaans for public library. And then it'll have all of the languages: Xhosa, Sotho, Zulu, Swahili. Like I don't even know all 11 languages and names, never mind the language itself. It's shocking.
That only happens here when we try to take money out of an ATM machine.
Weirdly.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever intentionally pushed one of the other languages to see what would happen and how far they would get?
Yeah, you just have to hang up and start all over at the beginning.
No, like I did it on purpose. I did it in French once.
Good Lord. I'd launch a nuke by accident.
Well, I mean, you know, and fun fact, the modern English language, and we're not talking the proper King's English, we're talking about American English. It was literally created by bastardizing every other language on the planet.
That's how new languages are created, eh?
Yeah.
Just literally taking something, ripping the shit out of it, making up your own things, and then, you know, presto, new language.
Good thing Content ID wasn't a thing back then.
Oh, God.
Or we all be stalking like cavemen still.
Oh, that's great.
Well, once again, Flak, thank you so much for being here. Any final thoughts on the way out the door for the viewers?
No, I just wanted to say thank you, guys. All 3 of you. This was awesome. I had a fun time.
Yeah, us too. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. All right, awesome. Folks. Well, why don't you say goodbye to everybody and
of
everybody
course,
watching at home.
To the 3 of you guys and to all the viewers in the chat, all 18 of you that are still here. I thoroughly appreciated your inputs and your very nice your nice comments and your thank yous and your hellos. And sorry I didn't reply to everybody. I'm getting like 50 Steam messages from people also like, get in here, we're getting raided. So you know, I've ignored them. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. I don't care. Like, they'll be fine. So,
that's great. That's
there's
great.
a lot of people saying thank you and goodbye. They're awesome, and that's why we do it. We create these things and these podcasts and these vlogs and these videos so that people can interact and we can just all like be entertained essentially. Because I mean, let's be honest, TV's dead. The world of entertainment is going forward in a self-creation method. YouTube's, Twitter's, you know, Snaps. What is that? Snapchat, I think.
Snapchat, your Instagrams.
Yeah. All of those is going to be the future of media. The idea of a TV show is dead.
Yep.
Radio is dead. And I like that we are the pioneers. Well, not really us, but I mean we are the starting breed of what is now going to be entertainment. Games are no longer going to be purchased; they're all going to be free to plays. People are not going to get their entertainment from cinemas anymore. It's going to be just online. There's just going to be these new platforms coming in. We're at that forefront of that fight, and I love it.
Yeah,
part of something
big possibilities in the future. That's anybody can do what they want now if they have some talent, some passion.
and you have a general smartphone, you can literally create a life for yourself.
Isn't that insane?
But as long as you align with the platform that you're speaking on, political views in that fight.
Often.
That's right.
However, I'm not going to get silenced. No fucking ways.
Nope,
I
absolutely
will
not.
close my channel before I get told, no, you cannot say that. Nope.
I want to say, though, it's so funny. Everybody's saying goodbye in chat, and one person has called you Mr. Flax. Another person just called you Mr. Flex.
I like that, Mr. Flax. Like Flexiel.
Good Lord. Everybody subscribe to Mr. Flack. His links for his Twitch. You can follow him on Twitch and subscribe to his YouTube. They're down in the description below. And feel free to come join us on my Discord. And if anybody wants Mr. Flack's Discord, I'm sure we can get that to you as well. Two great communities. And hopefully we'll be doing some duos soon there, Flack.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you for having me, guys.
Not a problem. And we will see everybody next time. Bye-bye.
Cool.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Look here, you son bitches. You listening to the Budda Show on Q92 WCTR. It's the only place for talk radio worth hearing. Hey, Charlene, bring me my beer.